Hurts, slant, Brown, lunge, touchdown Philadelphia. A.J. Brown snatched it out of the air for the score. Checks wing, well hit ball, and there it goes. Number 300 for Ken Griffey Jr. One of the youngest ever in the major leagues to reach the 300 home run plateau.
Bothered by Lou. Iverson.
How about that?
And the steps over to Ron Lou.
7 straight points by Iverson.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know what it is. It's Christmas night. It was Christmas morning today. Welcome to the NBA Trade Deadline special live stream here with the Louis Sports Network. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday evening as we are almost into the weekend right here for the February 10th to February 12th weekend for Super Bowl weekend. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to Hakeem J in the building. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is NBA Trade Talk here with the Louis Sports Network. Make sure you guys hit that like button as you guys come in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure those post notifications are turned on. Make sure you guys are sharing on your social media platforms. We truly appreciate that. It was a really big shakeup with the NBA trade deadline. And we got a lot to talk about, man. And so without further ado, I'm going to be doing it with my guests, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Notorious G Money Hoops in the building. What is going on, G Money? Are you ready to, well, first of all, how you doing? And secondly, also, are you ready to do some NBA trade talks?
Oh, yeah. One, I'm doing swell, good in the hood. Stand up. And also, I can't wait to sink my teeth into this trade festival.
All right, man. No doubt. And shout out to Karam. He says KD to the Suns caught me by surprise, Louis. And I know that was obviously the biggest headline that transpired in the trade deadline. But there was some also really small, nifty moves. Some moves I thought really didn't make sense. So G Money, shout out to Daniel Berry in the building. G Money, first of all, once again, can you tell everybody on YouTube land where they can find you before we get started on the very first trade topic?
For me, you can find me at the Last Laugh podcast. The Last Laugh podcast with me, Biggie, Prince, and Z. And 2, you can find me at the BX Sports Jedi Network doing the G Money Hoop Show.
All right, so you heard it from G Money right there, man. And guys, make sure you guys hit those like buttons as you guys come in. Also, if you guys would like to donate to the channel, you definitely can do that. No question about it. So all the links are in the description. Also, all the links are in the stream as well. You can also super chat if you would like. The super chats are also turned on right here on the channel. So now that we've gotten all of the festivities out of the way for the intro, ladies and gentlemen, it is Notorious G Money Hoops and Louis Sports Network NBA Trade Talk time with you and the people in the chat. So we'll be listening to the chat. We'll be reading the chats and definitely get our opinions and questions that you guys may have about this entire NBA trade deadline. G Money, are you ready to get started, my man? Because
I can't wait to open the present and see what's in. I can't wait to start this trade party going on. Man, we had some wild ones.
All right. So first off, before we get to obviously the biggest one, which was about Kevin Durant going to the Phoenix Suns, we're going to talk about the Kyrie Irving one. So what was your initial reaction when Kyrie Irving got traded to the Dallas Mavericks when Brooklyn decided to finally ship him and then get the trades and obviously get the picks that they got and some of the players that got back in Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie, even though I think the Nets are still trying to move Spencer Dinwiddie, I think possibly to get a deal for Pascal Siakam. But what was your initial thought when Kyrie Irving got traded over to the Dallas Mavericks?
I was like, whoa! The Mavericks get a new stallion in the house. They get Uncle Drew, a guy who's a good ball handler, can finish at the rim, and can hit big shots. I thought, man, this is a good trade for the Mavs. I thought it would take them time early. There's remember Luka coming back from injury. You don't know how he's gonna look early, but I thought later in the season they'll start to gel like your hand and glove. You have Kyrie who can move without the ball. You have Kyrie Irving who can stroke it, and he can play make too. Kyrie can play make when he wants to, and it'll take the pressure of look at the Don. So I thought this is A+ move.
Okay, and to be honest with you, it was a move that needed to be made because I felt like, again, we can say whatever we want about Kyrie and how you view him as a person and just the way he moves, and you feel like he's a narcissist and all that. But I'm just going to strictly talk basketball. From a basketball standpoint, I just look at the Brooklyn Nets and I feel like they failed. And it was an experiment that didn't work. And a large part of it had to do with injuries because KD and Kyrie only played 74 games together in the 4 years they were together in Brooklyn. And they only played 16 games together when James Harden was there, when they pushed to get him, when they gave up Jared Allen and eventually they gave up Karis LeVert, in that 3-team deal to get, to bring James Harden from the Rockets, to the Brooklyn Nets. So, and I thought Kyrie looked good. And my apologies, bro, because I forgot to send you the link yesterday to do the Clippers game.
You're good. You're good. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Because we had a lot of people in there, and so we had some Mavs fans. And real quick, what was your assessment of Dallas against the Clippers in Kyrie's first game? Like, how do you think Dallas performed against the Clippers in their first game?
Other than the turnovers, which kept the Clippers in the game, their 3-point shooting wet as water. Reggie Bullock came out flying in the first quarter, hitting corner threes. Kyrie Irving didn't break a sweat. He looked good, getting into the lane, mid-range shots. Tim Hardaway and Theo Pinson were the X factors of the game. I thought the Mavericks, and I thought their defense was good enough. I thought they contained. I know Kawhi had a good third quarter, but they contained Kawhi Leonard. They contained PG. They did a good job running. They did a good job contesting each Clippers 3-ball. So I thought the Mavs played a very good game. The turnovers is why the game was close, but other than that, Dallas played a smart game.
Yeah, I got to give Dallas a lot of credit for getting off that win. I thought that they would. I knew that they would compete with the Clippers, but I thought the Clippers would edge them out, kind of like in a close game, just because Luka wasn't there, and it's like Kyrie's first game. How are they going to be able to gel? But the fact that they were able to on the road, go into Crypto.com Arena and beat the Clippers when the Clippers were actually starting to play.
And the
well
game they never trailed. The Mavs never trailed neither.
That's right. The Clippers never took the lead. They cut it within one just a couple of times, but they were never able to get over the hump. And one thing I noticed about the Clippers, even though they won, even though that they were starting to gel and they were starting to get some wins, what I noticed in that game is what was telling was in the second half was I felt that they were kind of lazy. They were getting lackadaisical with basketball with some of their turnovers. But more importantly, when they made their comeback, Kawhi Leonard was the one that got going. And I felt like it was starting to lift the Clippers. They were starting to play better defense because they couldn't stay in front of the Mavericks for nothing.
Agreed.
And the Mavs were getting off from the 3-point line. And the thing with Reggie Bullock is that he's always been inconsistent. He hit 5 threes in the first quarter, and it took him about a quarter and a half until he got a shot to fall down from the 3-point line. But then what happens is that so Kawhi Leonard helps them get back into the game. They start playing better defense, and Kawhi Leonard starting to take over the game, just the way a superstar should. Then when Paul George comes into the game in the fourth quarter, the offense gets stagnant. Paul George started to turn the ball over, and I'm realizing more and more the more I watch Paul George play, he's a very predictable basketball player. He tends to dribble the ball a little too much, and it makes it easier for the defense to pretty much swipe at him. He either loses it himself, which means that he just does a poor job handling the ball, or just he gets forced into a turnover, which allows somebody from the weak side to come steal the ball from him, and then he ends up turning the ball over. And then he just takes some ill-advised shots sometimes.
Just stupid shots, just wrong shots,
And then it took away the momentum from the Clippers because then when they got back, Dallas just made enough plays down the stretch to be able to hold them off. And I thought Kyrie did a really good job of not really forcing anything. Anytime the double team came, he was able to pass it. He was a willing passer, and Dallas was able to get some good looks. Like, he did not try to force anything. Didn't try to go 1-on-3, 1-on-4, 1-on-5. He just played within the system and did a good job. And when he got his one-on-one advantages in the pick and some of the screens and picks, he took advantage of that.
Agreed.
All right. So congratulations to Dallas on their first win. I'll get to the Clippers in a second, but now we have to talk about the meat and the potatoes of this trade. And the meat and potatoes of this trade are, well, you see Devin Booker on my background, but obviously it's that tarantula, it's that unicorn, that 7-footer that 7-foot sniper in Kevin Durant. Tarantula has been traded from the Brooklyn Nets to the Phoenix Suns with TJ Warren. And the Phoenix Suns, in return, give away Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, a few. I believe it was 4 first-round picks, 4 second-round.
4 first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap, and they also trade Jay Crowder, who's on the Bucks now.
Yeah, so they got him to swap. So, what was your reaction when you heard this trade go down? And what?
I was like, Zoe, mama, oh, good golly. It broke me off from my bed. I'm like, yo, the Suns have a big three. At first, I said to myself, this Suns team, if they're healthy, is going to be dangerous. Because now you have Kevin Durant, who can take the ball who can take the pressure of Devin Booker. My only concern is that they don't have a bench. That's my concern. And their perimeter defense is kind of gone. But other than that, their starting five is dangerous, Lou. Look, you have the CP3, D Book. You have TJ Warren, Durantula, and DeAndre Ayton if healthy. If they're fully healthy, that's a top 4 team in the West and a team that has a legit chance to get to the NBA Finals because you can't trap Chris Paul or Devin Booker or Kevin Durant. You can't because you can leave one of them open. And another thing, too, is this. Getting Kevin Durant was big because they needed a superstar to help out Devin Booker. Because if they even though I wish they didn't give up too much, I think getting Kevin Durant was key to take the pressure of Chris Paul and Devin Booker and a guy who can also defend when he wants to from the perimeter. He can also pass too. And I think Kevin Durant, when healthy, will fit nice well with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So I think that was a good trade for the Suns. For the Nets, I don't think it was even though the Nets could have gotten more. If you're the Nets, you get a young Mikal Bridges, who's a good 3-and-D guy, Cam Johnson that can switch cheats from 3, athletic, and some picks. I think both teams want to trade.
Real quick, let me get into the chat real quick. Yo, shout out to Jay. I see you in the building, guys. Continue to hit that like. Appreciate that. Shout out to Ryan in the building as well. Yo, shout out to my Bronx sister, Michelle. Michelle's daughter comes in with the $9.99 donation. I definitely appreciate you, my Bronx sister. Hope everything is well with you out there in Phoenix. I definitely want to go back to Phoenix again. I loved my time in Phoenix. It was just awesome. So I definitely want to go back. But much love and respect. And shout out to Watching Bleed also, man. You guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're talking hoops with G Money in terms of all these NBA trades that went down today. All right, so when I look at the Phoenix Suns and Brooklyn Nets trade, there's 2 ways you can look at it for the Brooklyn Nets. One, the organization does not know what they're doing, and they did a very poor job of really listening to KD and Kyrie, not really taking control of their franchise, and they were committed to trying to go all in with their chips and trying to make this a championship team. The only problem is that their star players were never really healthy, and they threw Kyrie under the bus with not really supporting him when he refused to take the vaccine, and then you had the anti-Semitic tweet. There's that. But I think with Brooklyn, it's like they got younger. I think Mikal Bridges was a good move. You get a nice 3-and-D guy, and he's only 25, 26 years old, I think. So he's still young. He should be in his 20s, I think.
Mikal Bridges is let me check. Mikal. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll give him some time, please. Mikal Bridges, when I look at his age, Mikal Bridges, he is 26.
Okay, so I was right around that ball.
Cam Johnson's 26 too, yeah.
You said that Cam Johnson is how old?
Cam Johnson is 26 also.
Okay, so yeah, the Nets got younger. And they got something to build for the future. They got 4 first-round picks, but they definitely could use a swap if they wanted to get another player. But I think knowing Joe Tsai and Sean Marks, they're probably going to keep those picks to see what they can do probably for the future. And then also you got Cam Thomas, who's been balling as of late, and his ability to been able to score 40 these last couple of games. So I think that they're going to build around him.
Yeah,
and what's really crazy about this situation is that Brooklyn was 4th in the Eastern Conference with a 31-20 record at the time all of this is happening. And the fact that they just kind of quit and gave up because it felt like that they weren't going to, and maybe in their eyes, not compete for a championship, they just kind of gave up a little too quick and sent those players away. And I think it was really more so for the fact that with Kyrie, they didn't want to let him walk and get nothing. And it's just been too much drama. So Kyrie and KD have been at odds with the front office for, the last 2 years now. So it just kind of just made sense, to get rid of them, just to get rid of all that drama. But I just think that even though the Nets, they did well in terms of what they got back, it's a very dysfunctional organization. And I feel like Brooklyn The only thing that I give Brooklyn credit for is the fact that I've been able to travel to the Barclays Center to watch some great players play when I've gotten the chance to go to the Barclays Center, and it's a beautiful gym. I like going there. But other than that, I feel like they should have stayed in New Jersey if I know that this was going to be, because the thing is, nobody's really taking that team seriously. Like, what fan base do they really have when you think about it? Because a lot of these fans, some of them are hardcore fans from New Jersey. Then on top of that, you have to remember that a lot of these guys are KD and Kyrie fans that just came out and bandwagon to be Brooklyn Nets fans. Where are those guys at now? They're gone. They're traded, and they're in the Western Conference. So now Kyrie's jersey is going to sell like crazy, and Kevin Durant's jersey with Phoenix is going to sell like crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at the Phoenix Suns, as Brooklyn is just a dysfunctional organization, even though I still thought they did solid. My thing with Phoenix is I question their health. Kevin Durant is 34 years old. Chris Paul is going to be 38 in May. Devin Booker has been injury prone. DeAndre Ayton has really been the only player that's played more. And
even Ayton's injury prone too sometimes.
And DeAndre Ayton is injury prone. Also, DeAndre Ayton is having issues with Monty Williams. Monty Williams has kind of lost DeAndre Ayton. They've been at butting heads since last year. So there's that problem. And my thing is that people are already crowning Phoenix as kind of like the favorites to kind of win the championship. They have no excuses.
I don't know. They don't have a bench.
And their bench is not that good. People are kind of saying, oh, Durant could kind of help them defensively and rebounding a little bit. I was like, the Suns are still small. They have size with KD and DeAndre Ayton, but it's like they don't really have a bench. Can I really question them to be healthy? I wonder how they're going to really run their offense. But I will say shooting wise and scoring wise, they did get better just because Phoenix is they're in the 20s, and I think they're 25th in field goal percentage. And the crazy part is 46%. If you take that and you apply that to the 2000s, you were a top 10 shooting team, which tells you how this era is. Then there's that. Then also they're like 20th in scoring. So Kevin Durant's going to help out with that. And then also 3-point shooting, they're like in the low 20s. So now with Kevin Durant coming in and you're getting TJ Warren, I wonder how many minutes TJ Warren's going to play, which I'm presuming he's probably going to be in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got a formidable starting five, like you said. It's just I question their health because TJ Warren has been injury prone himself too.
Yeah, all five are injury prone. Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how Phoenix does. But I think if healthy, their starting five can compete with any starting five in the NBA.
It's uber scary. They're healthy.
Because the thing is with Chris Paul, he doesn't even really have to score. He can just facilitate. He doesn't even really have to score because he's already got it with Booker, Ayton, and KD.
And TJ Warren.
Yeah, if he has the ability to go off if he wants to too. So I think that scoring wise, they don't have an issue. I just kind of question defensively how they're going to be able to do, because Chris Paul is not the defender he once was. Kevin Durant has actually been playing good defense, but I think it's kind of asking a lot out of him. Especially, I wonder how DeAndre Ayton doesn't have such a high motor. It's like he can be a good defender when he's motivated. When he's not, he can get beat in the pick and roll, and you can take him out of the paint and you can get him out of rotation pretty easy.
Right.
So real quick, it's kind of early to say, but I'm not ready to crown the Phoenix Suns as an NBA title contender. You got to put them in the contention just because of this move. It'd be foolish not to do that, but I don't know if they're an NBA Finals team, especially not with no bench. And I think losing Mikal Bridges is going to hurt, and Cam Johnson, because those were two key pieces. I think if you would have kept one of them, I think I would have given them a little bit of a slighter better chance. But the fact that you lost both of them, and you had to, because you got Kevin Durant. And Durant still has 3 years on his deal, which is another thing that we got to factor in.
That is true. And another thing too, I don't want, and I agree, they are injury prone, but I always tell people you don't want to assume injuries. You know what I mean, Lou? Anyone can get hurt, even the guys you don't expect. I want to ask you, Lou, did you think Klay Thompson would get hurt in 2019? He was durable before 2019. You didn't think he would get hurt before 20? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Did you think he would get hurt against Toronto? Nobody thought that.
No.
So and you're right, they're injury prone, but I don't want to assume injuries because we don't know the future though. We got to assume health when you make a prediction. We got to assume health when you make a prediction.
No, because that's why we always say if health. You don't want to say the word if, but it's just because the one thing that we always mention, if we always look at their history, it's like what's been happening lately. And lately, when Durant's on the floor, he's actually having an impact. But right now, he's out with an MCL, and the question is, how's his MCL going to be once he comes back? Is going to be the question.
That's good.
So,
It's going to take time to adjust. Yeah.
so that's the thing. So the fact that KD's out, it's gonna you wonder how many games is it going to take him to adjust, and the type of system they're going to run under Mighty Williams. So, that's going to be the issue.
That is true, though. I have one question. Some people think they should get Westbrook off the bench. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea. What do you think?
Phoenix Suns?
Yeah. I said consider getting Westbrook off the bench. What do you think? And put Cameron Payne at the two.
Well, here's the problem. That sounds like it would be great if Russ would actually spend the rest of his career off the bench. To be honest, I'm going to be really frank. It's not that I don't want Westbrook starting and stuff like that, but I just feel like when it comes to impact, I think he would be definitely great as a six man. But my problem is that if I just don't know what's going to make KD want to play with Russell Westbrook again, even though he's on a better team, even though he's on a better team right now. The thing is, he left Westbrook for a reason. And it's just that I don't think it's personal with KD like a lot of his people like to make it. Can Russell Westbrook play winning basketball when it matters? That's the question. It's never been about, listen, Westbrook, talented, can get triple doubles with, he's the triple double king for a reason. Russell Westbrook plays hard, but the thing is, that all gets smoke and mirrors when you talk about IQ in the biggest moments in the playoffs. And if you can't perform in the postseason, what does those regular season numbers mean when you tell me Russ has a 70% win percentage when he gets a triple double? That's great and all, and much love to him, man. But at the end of the day, on a team like the Phoenix Suns, he would have to come off the bench. But my question is Russ's ego going to allow it? Because at this point now, he's out of the Lakers, and Russ, he's going to feel like he can start. So it's like, can he get motivated? Can Russ get motivated to come off the bench like he did with the Lakers? Because he did it with Darvin Ham, but you saw what happened in the game against the Thunder. He had an issue with Phil Handy at the end of the first half. Yo, salute to Freddie Gee, long time no see. And also, he had an issue with Darvin Ham at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
when he was sent to the bench. And the funny thing is, the minute that happened, he gets traded. That is crazy how sometimes those things work. It's almost like it was in the works. And you already know Russ was in trade rumors like that entire time. So it was like, you knew that at some point Russ was going to get traded. And, there's that. All right, man. So, we're going to get into expectations in terms of like results and what we expect from these players with these teams, probably like when you look at the playoff standings. And obviously, we still got we still got a ways to go. We're not even at the All-Star break yet. I'm talking about. So let's talk about the Los Angeles Clippers. We know they lost last night. I always call Kawhi Leonard Kalo management, and I don't care what anybody says. Kawhi at one time was my favorite player, but I'm tired of his diva-ish ways. I can't stand his Uncle Dennis because I feel like he's fed a lot of crap into his head, and it's like, look at him now.
Kawhi needs to stop listening to that.
Quite honestly, because I feel like it's always like the organization says one thing, Kawhi Leonard says another thing, and we already saw what happened. It was the same thing with the Spurs. But I will give Kawhi somewhat of the benefit of the doubt because San Antonio, to me, they're kind of low key. They're kind of low key trolls to kind of be honestly when you kind of in a way think about it. But all right. So with the Los Angeles Clippers, they added Eric Gordon to their team. They were able to add Bones Highland, and they also got Mason Plumlee. So I wanted to ask you, what were your thoughts when they got them moves? Now, real quick before you say it, what I do want to say is that I'm a little disappointed that, and I know they got rid of John Wall to the Rockets, but the issue that I have is, why haven't they still addressed their playmaking point guard situation? But anyway, thoughts on the trade though, on the moves that they picked up.
Mason Plumlee is good. You get a shot blocking machine, a rebounding demon, Mason Plumlee, and he can back up Zubac. So I like the Mason Plumlee move. Bones Highland, I think it helped the bench. If you're gonna get Bones, you gotta put him off the bench. I don't think he's a star. You gotta put Bones off the bench. Bones can really crack some bones, and he can shoot it from way downtown. And he is a good player, but he could be wild. He could be like a wild Thornberry, very wild to take some really crazy shots. Eric Gordon, former Clipper, by the way. He used to be a former Clipper. Eric Gordon. I think that's a pretty decent move. You get another veteran that can stretch the floor, can get to the basket sometimes. So I like the moves, but I do agree they should have at least gone a playmaker. What about this? And this might happen. Westbrook to the Clippers. What was that?
Let's see.
I think that might be a good move.
Westbrook to the Clippers. In my opinion, Westbrook's going to have to start, and Bo Highland's going to have to come off the bench. And the thing is, I think that's what Russell will want. He's playing with another former point. Well, now his coach is a former point guard in Ty Lue, so I think that's somewhat is going to have to help. Yeah, Clippers still got Zubac. They didn't get rid of him.
And also, Clippers got Danny Green too. They also have Danny Green.
Oh, I didn't know they got Danny Green. I heard he was on the trade block. They got him.
Yeah. Wow.
So see, this is good because now Danny Green. They shout out to Tyree. I see you. Freddie says the Clippers are stacked. My issue is that if they do get Westbrook, I think it will be good because now he'll be able to he would give them the playmaker that they need. But my issue with Westbrook is going to be, again, how is his decision making going to be in the playoffs? And you don't want him taking the type of shots that you don't want him to take in crucial situations. I think he's going to benefit the Clippers in terms of their fast break points. He could definitely push the pace. My question is how does Westbrook play in the half court? That's going to be different.
My fault. Danny Green ran to the Rockets. My fault. Excuse me. I mean, Mr. Danny Green ran to the Rockets. My fault.
Danny Green?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny Green went to the Rockets.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm guessing John Wall is there with Danny Green too.
Yeah, but I think they'll buy him out. I think Houston's going to buy out both of them.
If that's the case, then I think if I'm the Clippers, I'd pick Danny Green up. To be honest with you, because he gives them the experience. Kawhi Leonard won a championship with him. So I think it'd be nice. Pookie Man, real quick, says Bucks need to consider, shout out to Pookie Man. Bucks need to consider signing Westbrook ASAP. Would be awesome for the league. Bucks once had Kareem and Oscar. Giannis and Westbrook would be dangerous. What's your thoughts of Milwaukee picking up Russell Westbrook?
I think that would be nice because Milwaukee, that would be nice because imagine Russ and Giannis making the rims cry. You have guys who both can play make. Also, Russ can also do you can do the pick and roll with Russ to Giannis. I think that's a good move. You get Russ that can drive a kick to Middleton, Jay Crowder, Grayson Allen, Drew Holiday for things. I think that's a good move if you're Milwaukee. I would consider.
You know what? Now that I think about it, him and Drew Holiday as a backcourt, if they ever go to a lineup, at least with that, would be very good because, again, with that done, Drew Holiday can just focus on playing defense. And quite honestly, Russ will be able to facilitate. Drew could play off the ball. So I think that would be a good pickup. That would be a good pickup. So if I'm Milwaukee, I would consider it with the fact that you got Jay Crowder. Now, for me, my thoughts on the Jay Crowder move is it's not the best. It's okay. Jay, he has a tendency to be inconsistent. Like, he can make timely baskets. I mean, we saw him do it with Phoenix 2 years ago in 2021 throughout the playoffs. But I think I'm not the biggest fan of this move, but I think it was okay just for the fact that he does give them a little bit of defense. Now, the question is he – but my thing is with Jay Crowder, I never looked at him as a great defender. I always felt like he was very physical, but he has a tendency to get into foul trouble. And he always tries to get physical for the most part, but I never thought about that. Shout out to you, Pookie Man. Appreciate that. Jay is asking, did Danny Green get redirected from the Rockets to the Clippers? I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that because if he got redirected –
I don't think so. I saw Rockets, so let me check, though.
Yeah, definitely check on that to see if he got redirected to the Clippers, because then that might explain that John Wall deal then if he got redirected.
Because I saw a report that Danny Green got – let me check. If he did go to the Clippers, that's a huge move for the Clippers to get another three-point shooter, lockdown defender. Let me check.
That would be great. Yeah, so while G Money's checking that, getting back to these moves. Freddie Gee says, I can't believe the Nets blew everything up so quickly. I wanted to see the ball out in the playoffs. Well, Freddie, the thing is with the Nets, I wanted to see it too because I wanted to see them possibly get a rematch against Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. That would have been nice for them against the Bucks. Like it would have been great. But it's like now it's looking like the Western Conference in the playoffs is going to be looked at as the more intriguing one because now Kyrie's in the West and Kevin Durant is in the Western Conference. We saw the moves the Lakers made. You know, also Denver had a couple of little pickups themselves. We'll talk about their move in a second. But quite honestly, the ownership is just terrible. They really don't know what they're doing. It's like they went all in. They had a lot of dysfunctional issues. There was a lot of backs and forth in the direction of the team. It's kind of like you did all these moves, and then all of a sudden you just blew it up. They don't know what they're doing. It's like, they and some of the needs that they had, they never really addressed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Danny Green going to the Rockets, but he's a buyout candidate. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so if he gets bought out by Houston, I expect the Clippers to pick him up. I heard that the Lakers are trying to get interested in John Wall, but I don't think that's a great move if I'm the Lakers.
That's the wrong move.
I wouldn't go for John Wall if I'm the Lakers. I actually would stay away from that. So now, what's your expectations of the Clippers with these small moves that they made? I like the Mason Plumlee move because they get a backup big for Zubac, so I think that was really good. Like I said, Eric Gordon was good, but my still question with the Clippers is they still need leadership and playmaking. I feel like those two things are really holding them back, and I just don't trust Paul George. I know what I'm going to get out of Kawhi Leonard. I know Kawhi Leonard has his moments where he doesn't show up. But he's more consistent. He's much more consistent than Paul George because I feel like Paul George is going to find a way to disappoint. And in my opinion, he has to be the player that honestly has to go. But I don't know if Paul George has that kind of trade value because even when you look at Paul George's defense, it's slacked off since OKC. Like it hasn't really been good since he's really been a Clipper. There's been flashes, but not to where I saw when he was a Thunder and a Pacer.
If healthy, I'm gonna shock people. I have the Clippers coming out the West. I said before the year, if healthy, they have one of the deepest benches in the NBA. They still have a pretty good front court. I have a weird feeling Russ is going to be a Clipper. Just a weird feeling that's going to happen. And I just think that, and I think Danny Green goes to the Clippers too. And I just think that the Clippers, fully healthy with the experience, good bench depth, good perimeter defense, they're a top 5 defensive team. I got the Clippers coming out the West and going to the NBA Finals. Because when I look at the rest of the Western Conference, Denver, again, Thomas Bryant's all right, but they lost a bench. Phoenix, maybe, but I got to see how everything fits with Durant. I got to see how the bench looks. Golden State, they got Gary Payne back, but I don't know how Steph's going to look in the playoffs when he comes back. I think if the Clippers are fully healthy, I got them going to the NBA Finals.
That's interesting you said that. So you said I thought the Thomas Bryant move that the Nuggets did, I thought it was actually good for Denver.
It was a good move. I'm saying that the Nuggets don't have much of a bench. It was a good move though, getting Thomas Bryant.
Yeah, I felt. Yeah, I did. I'm still looking at the Nuggets and I feel like again depth is still an issue with the Nuggets. I feel like if they had a bench, I would really consider them more serious as a contender. But then on top of that, the question is going to be Jamal Murray as the X factor for this team because he hasn't really been healthy. And the last time he played as great as he did was during the pandemic. He balled out in the playoffs. So, but I think for the Phoenix Suns, people really shouldn't be looking at Kevin. They'll look at KD, of course, and I saw some people are criticizing him because they feel like again he's getting another stacked deck, so he can't do that. But I think it's really CP3 because let me ask you this. The reason being is because CP3's career is winding down. He's one of the greatest point guards of all time. I'm taking nothing away from CP3. He's one of my favorite point guards to watch. But here's the problem. He's always had issues with bigs. That's number one. Number two, he's been known he's had good performances in the playoffs, but he always gets injured at the wrong time. And then on top of that, he's had a little bit of choke jobs too. That's number two. And my thing is, I'm sick and tired of hearing that Chris Paul is the point guard. You cannot be a point guard if you never won anything in the NBA. Even with your all NBA teams, all defensive teams, You've led the league in steals before. So Chris Paul was one of the best defenders in the NBA at his position. He's one of the best point guards ever at his position. The problem is you cannot be a point guard if you have never won an NBA championship. You've never been MVP of the league. And the closest he had ever been MVP was obviously in 2008 with Kobe when it was his third season. But you cannot be a point guard if you've never won a chip. You've never been a Finals MVP with that. I can't consider you a point guard for that. Like I feel like he just got that title just to get it because, some of the things that he's done with the basketball, it's great, but.
Right. He's a point guard in the regular season, not in the playoffs.
Right. Shout out to Ryan. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Let me just go through the chat. Pookie Man says, as a Laker fan, I don't want to see the Clippers in the NBA Finals. Bro, if the Clippers make the NBA Finals and they actually win the NBA Finals, hell will freeze over. It will.
Tell me about it.
Hell will freeze over. Octavia says, the GM ain't BSing. Oh, I mean, at least he admitted it. He said Lakers for life, no doubt. So we already know that. KD's legacy got destroyed when he got swept last year. I wouldn't go that far.
Not
I mean,
destroyed.
I feel like it hurt him somewhat, but I wouldn't go destroyed. No, that was not a good look that he got swept. No, not at all. But I don't think this. Jay says KD this and that will get overlooked if CP3 finally wins. If Suns do, CP3 will win as a Robin. Well, CP3 at this point is a fourth option. He's not even. I wouldn't even consider him third because the thing is, you got Booker, Ayton, Warren, and Kevin Durant. You might as well say he's the fifth option. Yeah. You might as well even probably say that. So yeah, Chris Paul does not have to do much. All he has to do is just really facilitate and just get guys in the right positions, and they just play. That's really it. They don't really have to do much. He really doesn't have to do so much. Let's see. Okay. Gary Payton II got his money, and he's back with the Warriors. I mean, they obviously needed Gary Payton II because their perimeter defense has been awful this year. At times good, but I really more so, like I said, they're a better defensive team at home. But I thought Gary Payton II was it was good that they picked him back up. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and he definitely gives the Warriors what they need. Hopefully Steph can come back healthy. I know Clay had just came back recently, and I think that. But what's your situation now? How do you think that? To me, I feel like the Warriors have not handled the James Wiseman situation kind of well, and I know that Wiseman has not been healthy, which is kind of I feel like to me, which is kind of led to the Warriors not handling him as great, but still, I still think that the Warriors kind of mishandled him wrong. What do you think?
Yeah, they didn't use him right. They didn't use it well at all. I mean, he just didn't fit in the system at all. I mean, they didn't develop him. He looked lost. His defense was inconsistent. His shooting was up and down. He didn't put arc in his shot. He just didn't fit. And another piece that's good, Kevin Knox. I know Kevin Knox was a bust with New York, but I think Kevin Knox could fit well with Golden State because he likes to go with pace and space. So I think getting Kevin Knox is big too if you Golden State. But getting James Wiseman, I was going to say using James White just didn't fit in their system. But getting Kevin Knox, to me, is also underrated for you, the Warriors.
Yeah. It was weird because I also saw that I was looking at I think it was Fadeaway World, but they were showing a picture of Karl Anthony Towns in a Golden State uniform. Because I was like, there's no way they're gonna be able to get him because they're gonna have to give up a lot to get him. And they don't really have the assets to get Karl Anthony Towns. But I said if he was on that team, I said that would be crazy. But I can't see that. But let me check the comment section real quick. If KD doesn't win it this year, then it will look pretty bad. I'll say bad. Well, it will look bad because the media will attack him, especially the ones that don't like KD. They're going to say he went to another stacked team and look at him. He has to have a stacked team, but this time he failed. I mean, the only stacked team that worked was Golden State. Like I said, with Brooklyn, you could partly blame him, but you can't completely blame him. He had an Achilles injury. He came back and played well, but then Kyrie got injured. Harden didn't play up to standards when he got injured with his hamstring. Came in out of shape. They were dependent on Blake Griffin. Yes, I do have to give KD and Kyrie the blame for Steve Nash, though, because they at one part they kind of wanted him, and then they both said they didn't need a coach. So that's on them. That did come out of that those statements did come out of both of their mouths. So
Mhm.
they can't. Um, I will say this though. Do you think that with the Brooklyn Nets, they ought to keep Jacques Vaughn? I ought to say yes because I think that he did a
Yeah.
tremendous job with what he had to deal with KD and Kyrie versus the front office. I thought he did a tremendous job of keeping the team together, and they played
Mhm.
really hard. And I thought that the Nets they enjoyed playing for Jacques Vaughn. What do you think?
I agree. Jacques Vaughn's a good coach. He brings perimeter defense, and he's also very humble. Jacques Vaughn's also very, very humble. He's one of those coaches that's not scared to fail, and he brings like togetherness. And Jacques Vaughn's a coach that preaches ball movement. Because remember, with Steve Nash, the Nets were playing a lot of herky jerky hero ball. With Jacques Vaughn, you see him sharing the ball, off ball cuts, backdoor cuts, and great defense. But and he also helped develop Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, etc. So keeping Jacques Vaughn's a good idea.
I think with Jacques Vaughn now and the fact that they don't have really like superstars and they just have young players, I think I would love to see now the development of. I thought Nick Claxton did a really good job in his second year. He got stronger. He's starting to develop. I thought he really played well this year.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely he should be in the. He should definitely get some consideration for most improved because I really
And
thought he
defensive
did
player
a
of the
good
year
job.
too.
And I think Cam Thomas now is going to be in a running for most improved with the way that he's playing right now, since he's kind of. I always knew he had game, but like the fact that he's scoring this well, uh,
Mid range three
it, it,
ball.
him
Whew.
him and Nick Claxton are definitely part of their future. Now with Bridges, a young veteran player that's going to play defense and can hit the three. It's going to be nice. It's going to be good. So the Nets got a bright future. So we got to see what they do. Um, Going back to the chat real quick. Nets World says keep Jacques Vaughn. I'm happy for Westbrook. KD's Achilles injury happened on the Warriors. What first year? No, I'm saying he. I don't know if he was saying to somebody in chat, but I was saying that KD missed all of his first year with Brooklyn when he left because the injury happened against the Rockets, and then it just really went bad in Game 5 against the Toronto Raptors. CP3, aka Fraud God. Jay says CP3 can't be allergic to Game 7s this time around. Well, if he is allergic to Game 7s with that team, then it's going to say a lot about Chris Paul, even at 38.
Mm-hmm.
Even at 38.
Right.
Because people are going to connect it to his whole career. Trust me. We know
Okay.
the media, even though he sometimes get his passes. But Tyrese says he believes CP3 is the second option. I don't see that. Not
I
at this
don't really
point.
respect that. That's really more KD, Devin Booker. If you want to say Chris Paul's the third option, maybe, but really KD, Devin Booker, CP3.
The thing is, I'll probably go. I'll go as far as kind of the main. I'll kind of go far as the main option a little bit, just because of what he was doing in the last two seasons with Phoenix, especially like in close games. Um, even with Devin Booker, but I feel like he's at best on this team right now. At best he's the third option at best.
Yeah. I've
Excuse
won
me.
Gesundheit. Some people think the Phoenix Suns are a super team. I don't think they are. They have a big three, but this is not a super team. Chris Paul's aging and a grandpa. He's still good, but this is an older CP3. D Book is good, but not a superstar. How is this a super team? What? It's not.
Who says it's a super team? I mean, I've
Crazy.
heard.
Many
Who?
people.
Oh, well, I heard the media say it. Nick Wright said it's a super team, but who listens to him? I don't know what. I don't know what. I haven't even heard what Shannon Sharp and these guys have said. Because the thing is, I don't really watch them like as much anymore. Because again, all they do is just spit hot takes, and they only do it for ratings. Again,
Yeah, don't listen
for
to them.
those who are looking for real NBA analysts or looking for analysis, you got to go to some of these YouTube channels that are actually going to talk basketball. You actually have to go to watch NBA TV. They talk about all 30 teams all the time. So if you really want NBA analysis, people are looking at ESPN. All they do is spit garbage hot takes for views, for ratings. They say something outrageous. People start to get emotional, and it's like some people are gonna watch anyway because it's like, oh, I want to watch it. You can't complain about something that they just know what to do. Don't complain about something when it's like this has been the formula for years. They say something crazy because they think they know basketball. They watch the highlights, even though sometimes they'll say, yeah, I saw the game. I'm not saying sometimes they don't make great points, but my point is that again, they just do it for views. They get you to react, and once you react, they're already playing with your emotions already. If you guys want that analysis, go to YouTube channels that actually talk basketball, even if it's barbershop talk. But again, you're gonna get more basketball talk that way. Or you do something like this. We're talking hoops. We're talking about all these teams, but not these guys that just do these crazy hot takes. They say all the funny stuff to get you laugh. If you want to be entertained by that, that's totally fine. But don't complain about that. They're not talking about basketball. Oh, it's just a bunch of hot takes. You should have known that by now. That's all they do. So the Phoenix Suns won 64 games last year. Well, Freddie says Ayton, KD, Booker, and CP3, who has a better four in the NBA? I'll give you KD right now just because he's still playing at a high level. I'll give you Booker, and I'll give you Ayton. Like I said with CP3, I get it with his past credentials of what he has. For me, I'll say borderline super team. I'm not going to go crazy super team because, again, I'm not expecting a lot from Chris Paul at this point of his career because now that you got Kevin Durant, like I said, all he could do is just focus on distributing. He scores when he needs to, but I'm not going to go that far. Tyree says, y'all just thinking as a scoring option, but CP3 is much more than scoring. IQ, controlling the game, clutch points, timely defense, understanding defenses and opponents' tendencies.
Yeah, we know that.
Which makes him a better option than Booker. We're talking about as a scoring option. You're talking about overall as a player. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as a scoring option. KD's going to be the number one scoring option. Devin Booker's going to be the number two scoring option. DeAndre Ayton, most like him and DeAndre are battling for that third option. I just put it that way. When you talk about overall as a player, yeah, CP3 brings those things to the table. So I'm not sleeping on CP3 by
Chris
any
Paul's
means.
an underrated rebounder too. Sometimes, yeah. Chris Paul's also an underrated rebounder too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like I said, I've seen Chris Paul his whole career, so I know well enough about what I'm about to expect in the playoffs. If he's able to ball out and he's able to win a championship, you're gonna see I'm gonna be the first one. I'm gonna be the first one in here that's gonna get CP3 his props.
And he'll be the fish at the point guard if he were to do it.
Well, he'll be the point guard of this season. He'll be the point guard of this season in the playoffs for this championship. Yeah, I know the Suns are playing against the Hawks. Yeah, CP3 is still balling at a high level. I wouldn't go that far. He's still balling, but I want to go as a high level. Right. What are CP3's numbers this year? I know he's probably double-digit scoring, but I know it's low. I know it's not that high.
Yeah, Chris Paul. If you actually watch the Suns, even though Chris Paul's still good, he's kind of been up and down. If you actually watch CP3. And I know he's averaging almost 2 steals, but this is when the eye test comes in. Even though he's always been a good defender, he's not the same defender he was a few years ago. He kind of gambles now. Let's see.
But the thing is with defense, I don't expect Chris Paul to be the defender that he was at just a few years ago to now at 38. And the thing is, what's kind of sped up the process has been his injuries because he's been way more injury prone as he's gotten into his mid-30s. So he's getting a lot more injuries now. But,
Chris Paul's averaging 13.6 points per game, 4.3 boards per game, 8.7 dishes per game, 43.2% from the field, which is low for CP3, 38.6% from 38.8%, from downtown, 82.6% at the line.
So the 82%, it's a little bit down, but like I said, he's getting older. I think that's still good, despite that he's 38. And I think the fact that he's shooting 38%, that's still pretty good considering he's 38 years old. So he's slightly above average.
When he started slow from 3, and he started to pick it up.
Yeah, I kind of expected it from CP3 at this point though in his career though. Okay. We'll talk about expectations with these teams as we continue right here. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, make sure to share the stream. Make sure to hit that like button. Also, shout out to Ryan for the $5 donation. Shout out to Michelle's daughter with the $9.99 donation. Appreciate you guys, with the donations, and continue to smash the like and share the stream. Okay. I feel like the Grizzlies, they disappointed in this trade deadline scenario. The only real thing that they picked up was they got Luke Kennard from the Clippers in a 3-team deal, I think, with the Pelicans and obviously the Clippers. No, the Rockets and the Clippers, I'm sorry, in their 3-team deal. So what's your thoughts on the Grizzlies picking up Luke Kennard? I don't think it really moves the needle that much for them.
It helps a little bit, but not much.
Because the Grizzlies are not that good of a 3-point shooting team, and Luke Kennard is going to help them space the floor. But I'm just disappointed in the Grizzlies, and I really think that they haven't been humbled, and I feel like it's going to happen again in the postseason.
Agreed.
And I hate to say this, but I get a funny feeling in terms of Memphis. They'll be rebuilding a lot sooner than people think, despite the fact that they're young. But I feel like they're going to be rebuilding a lot sooner than people think. The reason being is because they won 56 games last year. They're starting to struggle. They're struggling a little bit as of right now, even though they were right on par. They're still number 2 in the West, but they're kind of struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't trust Ja Morant in the playoffs. I don't. And there's just something about his IQ and his arrogance that to me that is going to lead to another playoff exit, especially this whole Grizzlies team. I just feel like they just do a whole lot of talking, and nothing wrong with that, but you got to be able to back it up. And I just feel like they're going to disappoint if they run into the wrong matchup, because I told people last year, fully healthy, the Warriors were going to beat the Grizzlies because I felt they talked a lot of trash, and people felt that, again, they were younger, more athletic. But I said experience matters in the postseason. I said it doesn't always matter in every series, but I said in this series last year, I said I felt like the experience of the Warriors was going to overcome the Memphis Grizzlies' youth and talent. I was going to say that. Let me see. Jay says Glenn Rivers derailed them. CP3 being allergic to Game 7s didn't help, which carried over to Houston. Ned says, maybe I'm still shocked on how my friends still said that KD was more popular than Messi. That's not true. But anyway, I feel you on the Grizzlies rebuild, because I really feel that I think if the Grizzlies don't make a deep playoff run, I feel like as the West sort of kind of improves somewhat, it's going to be a little bit tougher for the Grizzlies to go deep. And I feel like against the raw matchup, they could be once again one and done. I feel like, again, they need to make some noise in the postseason and stop talking. I need to see at least a Western Conference Finals appearance from the Grizzlies. They got to the second round last year, but if they're going to do all this talking, if they're in the 2 spot, remember the Phoenix Suns did some trash talking last year themselves. And what happened in the playoffs? They lost in 7-2.
They got trucked in Game 7.
Like the biggest thing that I saw last year was when CP3 hit a 3-pointer, and it said it cut the lead to, I think it was about 30. I was like,
43, bang! Christmas I hit a 43. Woo!
Bro, that was a very, very, very demoralizing and disappointing Game 7 that I saw last year with Phoenix. And I'm like, you know what? And even though momentum was on the Maverick side, I stuck with my pick. I said the Phoenix Suns, it didn't look good. I said, but maybe they'll find a way, to win.
Our opinions were wrong emphatically.
Devin Booker talking all that trash to Luka, and you were down by as many as 50 at home, and it didn't help.
They were down by 46.
It was 46. I feel like they were down by as many as 50.
It felt like 50, but it was actually 46.
46? Okay, but I'll just round it up to 50. Just round the 6 to 50. But anyway, they were down by 46 points. And then on top, like I said, I just wonder what the relationship with DeAndre Ayton and Coach Monty Williams are, because they don't really have one. They've been butting heads since last year, especially in the playoffs. So I feel like if they can find a way to get past that, and Kevin Durant can motivate DeAndre Ayton to play at a championship level, near championship level, we're considering that KD has 2 Finals MVPs and 2 championships with Golden State. Hopefully that veteranness could possibly help. And CP3 is a leader. But we'll see what happens with Suns. That they got a lot of question marks, even with this move. Even though people want to, even if you want to say, yeah, they're stacked. So we'll go with that. They're stacked in the starting lineup. But we'll see what they do. So what was your reaction to the Nuggets getting Thomas Bryant from the Lakers? Now, from the Lakers side, I'm surprised that they got rid of Thomas Bryant, because I felt that Thomas Bryant was one of their best players when AD got hurt. And I felt that when he struggled a little bit, he got taken out of the rotation once Anthony Davis come back, and then his minutes went down. But I thought Thomas Bryant played as well as you could, playing in the absence of AD. So the fact that the Lakers got rid of him, I was very surprised at that. What are your thoughts on Thomas Bryant going to the Nuggets and a little bit, and just a little surprised that the Lakers ended up trading him.
It was shocking. Not just that, they got Mo Bamba from trading from Pat Bev. That's shocking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you're Denver, this is a big time move. You get another stretch big in Thomas Bryant, who's athletic freak, can protect the rim. He's a beast on the boards. He's energetic. He's injury prone sometimes, but when healthy, he can stroke it from three. He hustles, good defender, and I think he can also help Nikola Jokic too with some defense. And you can back him up though. You can back him up. So getting Thomas Bryant was key because DeAndre Jordan, he's just a senior citizen to this point. So getting Thomas Bryant, big time. Even the Nuggets, huge.
Yeah, I like the move for the Nuggets. I know they gave Devon Reed to the Lakers in the move for Thomas Bryant, and I think the Nuggets gave up a couple of picks. But I think they were all second round picks. But I like the move that the Nuggets made. I thought it was a good move because first of all, Thomas Bryant can shoot the three. Mm-hmm. Thomas Bryant, I think he's going to compete real hard. Who was Devon Reed? He was with the Nuggets. He was a big for the Nuggets, power forward for the Nuggets. He's now with the Lakers now in the deal for Thomas Bryant. But like I said, I thought it was a good pickup for the Nuggets. Does it move the needle that much? No, but I think that it does well defensively. I think he'll be good rotation wise. He's a good shot blocker, Thomas Bryant. I think he's going to complement Jokic real well. You can play two bigs in the lineup because he can stretch the floor. So he's not going to get into Jokic's way, which is good. And Jokic, he could feed those dimes. He can play off the ball. He can set screens. So I think Thomas Bryant was a very, very good pickup for the Denver Nuggets. They still got to address their bench, though, because I feel like the bench might be the thing that holds them back in the playoffs. But I like the move. I definitely like the move. So I think it was good. Let's see. Continuing in the trade, I know the Celtics got Mike Muscala. In the Celtics case, they really don't have to do anything. They're the best team in the NBA. They're deep pretty much at just about every position. Mm-hmm. And Muscala just gives them another three-point shooter. So I think that they don't really need to do anything else. They just got to continue to play, get better, and they're expected to go to the finals. So my question to you is, if Jason Tatum and the Celtics get to the finals and Jason Tatum wins finals MVP, let's just say, does this move him into the top 5 player conversation for in the NBA?
Oh, yeah. Because
some people feel he's the best player. Some people feel not the best player, but he belongs to the top 5 conversation. People feel that do you think he's the MVP of the regular season this year? And do you think that he becomes and gets into that conversation for top 5, possibly even top 3 for best player in the NBA?
Is the MVP for this year? That is tough. For me, that is tough. Oh, sheesh. I'm gonna give a slight edge towards Jokic, but I can understand why people think Tatum. If Jason Tatum can break the barrier and be the Finals MVP, he would be in the top 5. He will be in the top 5, and I'm talking about and he will be officially a superstar with the Finals MVP, and will be in the top 5 and top 3. Yeah.
And let's switch gears and go back to the Brooklyn Nets, because I need to talk about Ben Simmons. And I'm not even calling him Simmons. I'm calling him Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons, he made a stupid comment just the other day. This man literally said that Nets fans and the NBA need to be patient with him. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? First of all, Ben, you want to play for the Lakers. You want to play in the West Coast, and you're a clutch client. So I know who you want to play with, because I said before, if you got what you wanted, if you got what you wanted, I bet you would start playing hard. Mm-hmm. And what I see from Ben Simmons is a guy who cares about money, a guy who cares about dating celebrities, a guy who does not care about winning championships and being a great player. He doesn't care about that. So what's your opinion on Ben Simmons and not really displaying hard as an NBA player?
Ben Simmons lacks passion. He has talent, but he lacks passion. This is why I don't respect the opinion what he said. I don't respect it. I don't listen to it. How can we be patient? You've been in the league since technically 2017. Technically, you missed your first year because of injury, but 2018, 19, 20, 21, and this year you've been average. Yes, he's a good passer, good defender, good rebounder, but he lacks grit. He passes up open shots. His free throw shooting is bad, and he's not accountable. My problem with Ben Simmons, he's not accountable of anything. Excuses, and that's annoying. Don't say when nobody's listening to this, man. No one wants to listen to, hey, you gotta be patient. Come on. Be patient for what, though? Look, I don't like to compare, but look at other guys who are improving. Ingram, even Zion, even Cam Thomas on your team in his second year getting balling. Darren Fox, John Morant, even RJ Barrett showed some promise. Come on, man. Like, Ben Simmons needs to just shut up and play, man. Like, the dude talks, whines, makes excuses, and he's not accountable, Lou. He doesn't take accountability, man.
I remember when the trade went down, when James Harden got traded for Ben Simmons, I said, being around KD and Kyrie, I think Ben would be motivated to play again. And the fact is, Kyrie already defended him when people were criticizing him for the way that he was playing when he was trying to work himself back into basketball shape. But the fact that Skip Bayless has constantly defended that 42-point game he had in Utah and all this kind of stuff, it's amazing. Ben drives to the rim. What jump shots did you see Ben getting those numbers off? And he probably got the game. Ben is afraid. Ben is just afraid to play. He'd rather just be a fashionista and say, "Look at me and look at the amount of beautiful clothes that I'm wearing on the bench." But you're not out there helping an NBA team, and it's like you're a liability. And it's like, to me, he knows he's afraid to fail because he's already failed multiple times in the playoffs. And you turn the ball over a lot. And if you can't shoot the basketball, you can't space the floor. It makes the defense easier. All they have to do is sag off of you because they know they can just build a wall. They'll take away your driving lanes. And even when you get aggressive to the basket, if somebody comes over to help, you won't even try to finish strong or draw the foul. You'll just pass it up because you're passive. You're passive. That's the bottom line. So Ben Simmons, I would want to say that Ben is one of the best players in defense and all this kind of stuff, but I can't say it because he just doesn't show up when it's important. And to me, that just shows me that he's about himself and he's not a good teammate. He's a narcissist, to be honest with you. That's narcissistic behavior that Ben Simmons displays. He would rather show you his fashion line on the bench and care about. He complained to the Sixers so much about his damn contract. Didn't even go out there and play. All he cared about was the money. That's it. All he cared about was money. He cares about dating women. I got no issue with wanting money and wanting women, but the fact that you're just in the NBA just wasting salary and not even going out there, it's like I'm pretty sure that you had some people who defended you and who are fans of yours, and now dudes are just pretty much tired of you. So Ben, if you don't care about the NBA, you might as well just retire. But we know you're not going to do that because your dream is to play for the Lakers because LeBron is there. We know that. We know that. That's the problem. He wants to be a Laker so damn bad, but it's just not gonna. It's just right now. It's just not gonna happen. That's the reason. Okay, so let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. I know that we are just a couple of days removed from LeBron getting the scoring record. Once again, congratulations to LeBron. But what is your opinion on getting Jared Vanderbilt, getting Malik Beasley, and getting D'Angelo Russell? I know we talked about a little bit about this, but since we're just talking about all the trades that have happened already these last couple of days, like I said, what are your expectations for the Lakers in the second half moving forward? And then we got to talk about that little AD situation because obviously with Russ, and I want to get back onto Russell Westbrook, but your thoughts on the Lakers moves?
At best, they make the play-in. I still don't think they make the playoffs. There's too many teams in the West. At best, they make the play-in, but I don't think they make the playoffs. Getting Vanderbilt and Beasley helps you with your lockdown defense. And don't forget Mo Bamba too, Lou. Those got Mo Bamba from the Magic. So it helps you with your perimeter defense. Well, but here's the problem. Beasley can shoot and Bamba, but they're too streaky. Same thing with Russell. Russell's a better shooter than Westbrook, and he can play me, but Russell's streaky. Same thing with Beasley and Bamba. They're streaky a little bit, though. And that's the issue, though. And even though Russell is a better shooter than Westbrook. He doesn't have IQ neither. He's a good player, but D'Angelo Russell lacks basketball IQ. Sometimes he tries to do too much, though.
Yeah.
And Beasley, yes, Beasley can shoot, but Beasley's inefficient sometimes. He takes some bad shots. Yeah, Beasley can put the ball on the floor and finish at the rim, but sometimes he can really jack up too much for threes, and he can be hot and cold. Vanderbilt's a good interior defender, can get to the rim, but if you take away the paint, what's he going to do offensively? It's like a turnstile on offense. I don't think this team's making the playoffs. Look, they're not better than the Grizzlies. They're not better than the Nuggets. That's 2. They're not better than the Kings. That's 3. They're not better than a healthy Pelicans. That's 4. They're not better than the healthy Clippers. That's 5. They're not better than the Suns. That's 6. They're not better than the Warriors. That's 7. And they're not better than the Nuggets. That's 8. How's this team making the playoffs, though? I don't see it. At best, they make the play-in, and that's it.
So G-Money's got the Lakers making the play-in. It's
but not
crazy,
playoffs.
but not the playoffs. The Lakers team, this is a very strange situation because on one hand, the Lakers look like they're not a playoff team. And then at the other hand, despite how poorly the Lakers have played this year, they're not that far from the 3rd spot just because of Sacramento's record. Like, they're right there. I think what's been embarrassing for Lakerland was the fact that, I believe the Kings they finished with a better record than the Lakers. I could be wrong about that, but I think the Lakers finished 4th or 5th in the division. That's disappointing coming from a championship team that's supposed to have championship expectations last year. This year, the West was a little bit watered down, but now the West just got a little bit stronger just with these moves that just happened. And the issue I'm having is a part of me still believes that the Lakers, they can be a playoff team. I won't be surprised if the Lakers have to battle in the play-in. And my only question is LeBron going to want to go through that? Because he went through the play-in 2 years ago. They got knocked off in the first round. We know some circumstances happen. But the bottom line is that he got knocked off in the first round. And, the thing is that I feel like if LeBron has to go through that again,
they might lose. Look at the teams that might face. Pelicans, Clippers, Suns maybe, Warriors if healthy, even Thunder. You never know what can happen. Or T-Wolves.
Yeah. All right. So the Phoenix Suns actually made another move. They got Darius Bazley from the Thunder, and they traded Bazley for Dario Saric, and the Thunder get a 2nd-round pick. What are your thoughts on that move?
I think it's a good move. I like Darius Bazley. He's athletic. I think it'll fit nice with Chris Paul and Cameron Payne. You can put him at the second unit because Cameron Payne plays fast, and Bazley's more of a run and gun type guy. So I think that's a good move for the Suns. And if I were the Suns, if Danny Green gets bought out, I would get Danny Green.
Something tells me Danny Green is going to be a Phoenix Sun. I first thought the Clippers, but I think Danny Green's going to get bought. He will get bought up by the Rockets, and the Phoenix Suns are going to play.
And that'll be a good move if you're Phoenix and Danny Green. Yeah.
Oh no, because it brings. Look, now they're starting to fill up some pieces. Danny Green can stretch the floor. Now his defense isn't what it used to be when he was with San Antonio and with Toronto, but he did some good things with the Lakers in the bubble. But I think that it's a good move to get him because he brings championship experience. He brings a veteran. He's a champion. He helps space the floor. And you're just hoping that Danny Green, again, with Danny Green, he's just the type of player now at this point. You're just hoping for one of those games where he can hit at least maybe 3 or 4 threes. And I think it would definitely and just, if he could just be able to defend, it'd be good. But you're right. Bazley is still young. He gives him good athleticism, another guy who can stretch the floor, give him a little bit of length. So this is going to be good in terms of the depth of the Phoenix Suns. It's going to prove their depth a little bit. And now they're going to look even a little more scary, formidable. Jay says that the Lakers are a play-in team. Teams are interested in how the Lakers are going to be without Russell Westbrook. AD has to be 100% to have any chance, and he's not. And it's a big mountain to climb. Yeah, so when I look at the Lakers, a lot of fans are thinking that this move is going to really thread the needle. It's going to give them a puncher's chance to be contenders in the Western Conference. The Lakers are not contenders. Let me just say that real quick. Are they a playoff team? I think that they're a playoff team, even though I know you think they're a playing team, and so does Jay. That's fine. It's playoffs / play-in. I'm gonna put it that way because it's like they're gonna be either or depending on how the West shakes up in the second half.
Mhm.
But I don't see them as a championship team. I don't think they're gonna win the championship. I know the media is really pushing it for them to be a championship team. I just don't see it. They're so happy that Russell Westbrook is gone, and I'm gonna get to Russell Westbrook in a moment because I thought what the media did was absolutely disgusting to Russell, even if we've talked about Westbrook's poor play in the past, but I'll get to him. But like I said before, Vanderbilt, good pickup. Malik Beasley, good pickup in terms of their floor spacing, their ability to defend. I think it's going to be good with the bigs, with Anthony Davis, and with Vanderbilt. I think it's going to be good. And
Mo
then with
Bamba good pickup too.
and Mo Bamba, I think that's going to be good. My only problem is it hurts to me. It's going to hurt Wayne Gabriel because now his minutes are going to be cut with this move now. So he's not going to really see a lot of floor time. And then we got to see what Austin Reeves is like when he comes back from his injury.
Yeah, he came back recently. He came back.
So D'Angelo Russell, like I said before, I thought that the Lakers don't need him. I'm being really honest. It's good that he can space the floor, but he's not dependable and he's streaky. And so, like I said, D'Angelo's game doesn't fit with what LeBron and AD have. They don't. So and the thing is now it's a mountain to climb for the Lakers just because of the fact that the West made moves and some of these teams are still not done, and we still have the buyout that is up until March. So we'll see what happens there too. So it's a huge mountain to climb for the Lakers, but yeah, it's like they are more trending towards from play-in to not making the playoffs, even though I got them as a playoff team. But
Right, and James made a good point. D'Lo is also a traffic cone on defense. That's gonna be a problem.
yeah, he sucked on defense when he was first with the Lakers. Didn't show any promise there. He sucked, and people forget D'Lo is an Ohio State product. But
And he's also kind of injury prone. I know he's been durable this year, but he's also kind of injury prone. Like that's gonna be. I don't want to assume injuries. I don't. But look at the problem. D'Lo injury prone. LeBron injury prone. AD injury prone. Mo Bamba injury prone.
That's a lot of injury prone players. I mean, Austin Reeves has missed some time already, and we
Also,
had
Reeves,
Lonnie Walker, even though he's gone, he missed time. Pat Bev missed time. The only real guy that really didn't miss any time was Russell Westbrook, who's now gone. But he was really the only one available. Now, let's get to Russell Westbrook. Obviously, Laker fans, especially people who don't like Russ, they were joyous when Russell Westbrook finally was able to get traded. But the media went on and said that Russell Westbrook was like a vampire sucking the life out of the Los Angeles Lakers as to why they never was able to really reach their potential. Now, with Russell Westbrook, I've said it time and time again, not a fan of his decision-making in the playoffs, not a fan of his IQ, not a fan of his turnovers. He does play hard. Defensively, he's overrated defensively. I've said it for the longest. Was one of the worst players in the league when it came to contesting jump shots. One of the worst in the league. Plays hard, love his tenacity, love his grit, but he loves to play one side of the ball, and he gave this illusion that he always played hard on both ends. He was always capable of playing hard on both ends. Capable. He showed flashes of him doing it when he came off the bench, but at the same time, he was never really consistent with that. Defense has never been Russ's forte. I don't care what anybody says. He was capable of doing it, but defense was never Russ's forte. But at the same time, the Los Angeles Lakers knew what they were getting in Russell Westbrook. So the fact that he came in as LeBron's scapegoat is something I can't stand. Like, I hated the fact that the media called him a vampire. The fact that the media says he's the reason that. Listen, I'm not defending his poor play, but if you think that he's the main problem, you are sadly mistaken. Because there's another guy in Jay Reed who's right behind me. Gets away with a lot of stuff, and he's still getting away with a lot of stuff. But the media's not going to call him out on it because, again, he's the poster child. So they're not going to bother him like that. But anyway, I just thought what they did to Russ was really disgusting, and it was a toxic environment. So I know Russ he didn't contribute and didn't help because he was partly toxic in his own right. So, but at least with Russ, I just want to see who are they going to blame now, because I feel like D'Angelo Russell is going to be, like I said, this is the scapegoat employment agency calling all scapegoats, looking for applicants who are able to get blamed for when things go wrong. And they were able to hire 3 new people: Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and D'Angelo Russell. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that point for those players, but if it does, they're going to be making their money from the media on getting the pink finger pointed at. Because LeBron always doing this in secret.
True. And another thing too, Malik Beasley also injury prone. So yeah, what you're saying is on point. What you're saying is on point. What they did to Westbrook was just disrespectful and just wrong. Look, what did Russ fit with LeBron AD? No, they didn't. He didn't really fit though.
No,
he didn't really fit at all. But at the same time, you can't blame everything on Russ. There's reasons why the Lakers were bumblecline. Their bench was inconsistent. The big three didn't fit. The coaching was head scratching. The team, the front office were wrong and trash. The team was just a clusterfunk. Like, come on, man. It wasn't just Russ.
Guys, continue to hit that like button as you guys come in, but it's like more than that. Darvin Ham listens to LeBron James. That's why he's not going to get blamed for anything. He says the same. If you listen to his speeches, he says the same thing over. I noticed that he says the same thing over and over and over and over again in post-game interviews when it comes to some of his lineups. Jay says Russ removed himself from being part of the Lakers' multiple issues and shortcomings. Those players get moved when they become toxic. Yeah, I said Russ was part of the problem because he himself was toxic. But it was like toxicity and toxicity. You combine that's just not going to be a good mix. So he had to get himself out. So they had to get himself out of there. But like I also said, Darvin Ham is a puppet. And I blame LeBron, I blame AD, and I blame Rob Pelinka for bringing in Russell Westbrook. It's all 3 of their faults. Jeannie doesn't know what she's doing as the owner of the team. Everything for her is all about feminism. That's all that is. And she listens to her friends. That's it. She has no clue on how to run an organization, and she's the owner of the team. She bought ownership. But I blame Rob Pelinka, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis for Russell Westbrook being a Los Angeles Lakers. It's all of their faults. The problem with some of these fans is they love to pick and choose on who they think it is. Oh, this guy's not the GM. He didn't have a say-so in this. Isn't this Rob Pelinka's job? Rob Pelinka is a puppet too. He is a scapegoat. So when things go wrong, he is going to get the blame. His job is to be the general manager. But who is on the team? Yes, the Lakers have been trash for years, even before LeBron got there. The problem is, even despite the fact that they've won a title, people are not taking that title seriously because they haven't won a title in a real season yet. They've been injured. There's been bad coaching. There's been a lot of finger pointing. There's been times where the Lakers don't play hard as a team. There's been times where the Lakers, they lapse on defense and all they do is they kind of look at each other. And you know who I'm talking about, the guy that looks at the most when he blows his defensive assignments. There's times that when the leadership looks like they don't want to play hard and it's just like they're deflated. And again, people forget that LeBron said this when they didn't get Kyrie Irving. He basically said to Russell Westbrook that Kyrie Irving is a better fit because I won a championship with him. And I said before, I don't know what's going on with AD, but then to me, it's several things. Number one, he got thrown under the bus by LeBron when they asked him questions. There's the fact that Anthony Davis also was not able to celebrate the scoring record with LeBron when he got into foul trouble. There's also, to me, there was a rumor said that they were trying to get KD to be with LeBron, and I think AD was part of that trade deal. So I think that, to me, that's another thing that probably affected AD mentally. So my question is that do you think, here's my question for you. Do you think that Anthony Davis is going to be able to push this aside, even though the Lakers have made some moves? Do you think Anthony Davis is going to have the maturity enough, the wherewithal, to be able to push whatever personal things he's got going on to the side and help the Lakers possibly make the play-in? Even though he's been in trade rumors for KD, he didn't get to celebrate the scoring record with LeBron. And then he felt like he kind of got thrown under the bus. And then because of the scoring record, they ended up losing the game to the Thunder, which that to me is kind of like, I feel like on a night like that, you should win the game. The fact that they didn't against a Thunder team that really is a tanking team, and they lost at home when they need these wins is was not great. But what's your thoughts on that?
That's a tough question. I think it depends on the game. There's gonna be games which AD will play hard, but it's also gonna be games which Anthony Davis will just chillax. Remember the game against the Thunder, Lou? He only took 9 shots, man.
Yeah,
he
hold
got
on. Give me 1 second.
Go take your time.
You keep talking, G-Money.
He got outplayed by Mike Muscala. Come on, dog. And Jaden Williams. What the hell? I think it depends on the matchup, though. So that's pretty much my answer. Depends on the matchup, though. Against the right matchup, he'll feast. Against the wrong matchup, he'll just be lazy.
All right. I have to go get something real quick. So yeah, and then on top of that, you know, Jay says when this season backfires, LeBron is going to probably move on. Finally, at least the Lakers get young. The only problem is if the season backfires and they finally get rid of LeBron, I wonder where they're going to trade him to because he has 1 year left on this deal. Who do the Lakers trade him to is going to be the question at the end of this offseason. And I think to me, if Anthony Davis possibly was about to get traded, I can understand why he didn't feel like because even some of the questions that the reporters were asking him, he just didn't really sound like he really cared. And I feel like to me, I feel like the injuries have really unmotivated him. On top of the fact that after the championship, I felt like he just settled and kind of relaxed. He was playing some really good basketball when he was healthy on the floor, but he doesn't bring it every night. And I feel like when AD's not engaged, his shot attempts are down and he tends to hang around the perimeter or he just stands around, doesn't rotate,
Agreed.
Doesn't play defense. When we know AD is one of the top defenders when he's engaged, but
misses big free throws in close games too.
Yeah, he has been doing that too. So, but then also, what's your thoughts on LeBron missing the? You see, this is my thing. I knew LeBron was going to miss the game tonight against the Bucks because he was going to have to go up against that front line of Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I knew that he was going to sit. I knew he was going to sit out. I just knew he was going to sit out against them. So this is my thing. You get this. I thought that against the Bucks, and I thought against a historic team like that, compared to the OKC Thunder / Seattle SuperSonics, I thought that it was going to set up perfectly just because of Kareem's history with both teams. But then when I saw that Kareem was already in attendance, I'm saying to myself, "Oh no, Bron's going to break the record tonight." And I remember the NBA said that they were not going to stop the game, but when LeBron broke that record, they stopped the game in the third. They stopped the game in the third quarter. They stopped it, and like I said, he deserved the moment. Don't get me wrong, but what happened was that it came in a loss, and then he only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter.
2 points. Yeah,
he had 36 through 3. Scored 2 points in the fourth. He took himself out. They took him out of the game because apparently he had foot soreness, and he's out tonight with an ankle injury. I'm like, wait, you went from foot soreness to an ankle. Which injury is it?
Yeah, he doesn't want to go out there and play. And here's what's crazy: this game's on TNT. Like the whole world is viewing you. You gotta go out there and you gotta go out there and put up a show to remember, man. Like, remember the first game we did? LeBron, AD, Lonnie Walker, Russ balled out in Milwaukee. Like, why can't you go out there tonight at home? It's just stupid, man. Like, it's like you're letting your fans down, not going out there and play. Because people are spending hard-earned money watching you.
My thing is that they were on the road when they got that big win against the Bucks, and the fact that you're at home, and the funny thing is Chris Middleton had just came back, and he was on minutes restriction, you know, but I didn't make too big of a deal of that game because I said, you know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. And it's like, and the crazy part is it's LeBron night tonight. So I'm just like, so now you're sacrificing another loss. You're going to put yourself at 6 games under 500. So I'm like, what you're doing is you're making it even worse for your Lakers team to work that much harder to try to climb up in the standings. And like, people in the West made moves. You need these kind of games. So it's like the fact that you're not even, you know, you're sitting some of these games out. I'm just like, that just sends the wrong message. And this is why I said that. I just feel like, who's the leader of the Lakers? I feel like there's no leadership on this team. I really don't see it. People want to say that LeBron is the leader. And in one part, I always call him the leader in terms of he needs to take responsibility for his actions. But he's such of a narcissist. It's when it's not convenient, all of a sudden he's not the leader. And it's like, but when things are go well, oh, he's the leader. And it's like, it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just like, that's just not a good look for somebody who's supposed to be, quote unquote, the greatest player of all time. Like, and I feel like, again, the media, they, to me, have destroyed the great players in the NBA that should be getting recognized with this silly GOAT debate. The only reason is that a lot of dudes come out and they just say either LeBron or Jordan, and they try to make their reasons. Some of their reasons are illogical. Don't make sense. They don't make sense. They don't make sense. And then when you listen to their arguments, I'm just like, what kind of argument is this? Because I don't really think that that's really a sound argument if you really think about it. But I don't know. Let's see. So we got Frank Kaminsky going to the Houston Rockets. The Hawks ended up dealing Holiday. Wait, well, before I get to that, I need to talk about these stupid New York Knicks. They gave up Cam Reddish and a first-round pick for
Cam
Josh
Reddish,
Hart.
Cam Reddish, Steve Mikhailou, Ryan Arcidiacono, and a first-round pick, for Josh Hart.
And then
I don't mind.
And the Sixers were able to get Matisse Thybulle. I'm sorry, not the Sixers. The Blazers got Matisse Thybulle from them in a 3-team deal. But what's your thoughts on the moves that the Blazers made?
I think Portland made a good move. Getting Matisse Thybulle is a good on-ball defender. I think Portland made a good move, though. Because Portland, they needed some perimeter defense, though. So I think getting Matisse Thybulle is a good young player that could also stroke it from 3 too. That's a good move for the Blazers. If you're the Knicks, we almost had look at the trades we had. We almost had Zach LaVine. I actually checked this though. The reason why New York didn't get Zach LaVine because of Quentin Grimes. Look, I love Quentin Grimes. I love the guy. But if you have the chance to get I know Zach LaVine is inconsistent, but Zach LaVine with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, I think, would fit. Also, even Sadiq Bey, bro. Atlanta traded 5 first-round picks for Sadiq Bey? We could have had him. Or OG Anunoby. We could have traded Obi Toppin, maybe Fournier, and maybe a pick or two to get OG Anunoby. And also, why didn't you just let go of Derrick Rose already? I love D Rose, but he's a grandpa at this point. He's a senior. He's old as useless. He's old like useless from Courage to Cowley Dog. Let him go, man. Let him go to a contender. The Bucks wanted him. Come on, New York. I mean, they have a good season now, but some of the decisions are just stupid and wrong, man. We could have had LaVine or Bay or OG. We could have traded for Bataze from the Pacers. Come on, man.
We could have, but it just shows how dumb our Knicks organization is. And so, like I said, we're not going to be going nowhere. Guys, hit the like button as you guys come in. Hit that like button. Still talking trades.
I like the Josh Hart move, though. It's good, though.
No, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like the Josh Hart move. I thought he was a good pickup in terms of what he brings to our team. But my problem is what we gave up is what I'm just kind of mad about. I felt like we gave up a little too much to get him. I felt like there could have been another deal to get him, but because I felt the Blazers finessed us in that aspect, and I felt like and I'm mad at Tom Thibodeau for not playing Cam Reddish enough because I felt like he could have helped us win some games with the talent he has.
Well, maybe he could have played Steve Mikhailou a little bit. He can shoot.
Okay. So, in other news, the Pelicans received Josh Richardson in a trade for Devontae Graham, and they gave up second-round picks to the San Antonio Spurs. What's your thoughts on that trade? What does Josh Richardson bring? What does Josh Richardson bring to the Pelicans?
He can stroke it. He can stroke it from the heavens from downtown. Good on-ball defender. Can hit a mid-range shot, and he brings veteran experience. He came from the Popovich tree. Josh Richardson used to play for the Mavs. Used to play for the Sixers. I think Josh Richardson is going to bolster up the Sixers bench. I'm not Sixers, the Pelicans bench. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a good move by the Pelicans. You know, he gives them a defender. Definitely another player that can help stretch the floor coming off the bench. So I think that it was a good move. With Devontae Graham, he's just going to be part of. Obviously, he's just going to be part of a young team. I feel like Devontae's going to be kind of bouncing around from team to team a bit. I guess I kind of see that that's how his career is going. He's a good player, but I just kind of see him bouncing around from team to team unless he becomes an asset that can help a team eventually, like a championship team. But I think for now, he's just going to be moving around with some of these young teams that are rebuilding right now and with his contract and stuff. So,
another thing too, the Hawks also had Garrison Matthews with Bruno Fernando. That's a good move. Garrison Matthews can shoot. Fernando's decent. That's a good move for the Hawks. And to get Sadiq Bey, Atlanta's gonna get better, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. They got the Rockets got Justin Holiday. I forgot. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, the Kevin Knox move was a good one. I thought it was a solid move. I hope he gets more opportunity with the Warriors because I feel like if he gets opportunities, Kevin Knox is a good player. I feel like the Knicks did him dirty and never really got to develop under the regime of Tom Thibodeau, and that's why he hasn't ended up to what I thought he was going to be when we first got him drafted. Oh wait, it looks like G Money just left the chat for a little bit because he got to do something. Jay says LaVine has a long contract and coming off an injury, Knicks, because of Dolan, have to operate like the Toronto Raptors. They have to trade or draft. No big questionable contracts. That's the only way we could really move because no star or superstar players are coming to the Knicks anytime soon. So we got to do it through the draft. We talked about Russell Westbrook being traded to the Utah Jazz, but Danny Ainge, I know, is expected to buy Russell out. And Westbrook is he either going to be a Clipper or is he going to be a Miami Heat? I think he's going to be a Clipper for the fact that Miami has not dealt Kyle Lowry. So because to me, they're going to hold on to him. And I feel like there really wasn't any really real trade offers for Kyle Lowry. I think Russ is going to be a Los Angeles Clipper. And the only question I have with Russ is going to be in the playoffs, but he does give them playmaking at the point guard spot that they have not had at all in the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George tenure with the Clips. So I think he gives them at least something from that aspect. Now, my only question, again, is going to be in the playoffs with his decision-making. And it's like, is Ty Lue going to be able to get real in Russ? And is Russ going to buy into him and be able to listen? I'm pretty sure Ty Lue is going to support Russ. But I got to see how they're going to be using Russ in this system. The Clippers also got 3 second-round picks. Nets got 5. We talked about the Muscala and Justin Jackson going to the Thunder. Damian Lillard already is off of trade talks. I just said that Kyle Lowry doesn't really do anything. I mean, even if he played with Kawhi Leonard or something, he's just too old at this point. Like, he's an inconsistent playoff performer. Even as a leader, he mentally, when things get rough, he can check out. And I've already seen it firsthand. Just ask LeBronto. You know, people were talking about possibly if DeRozan was going to get traded by the trade deadline. I said DeRozan honestly just needs to stay where he's at because I don't think he moves the needle for any of these teams like as a contending team. DeRozan is a horrific playoff performer. Horrific. One good playoff series in his entire NBA career. For a guy who wears Kobe's, he sure really just gave in to LeBron a lot in the playoffs. The Raptors really didn't have the team that the Cavaliers had when they kept getting eliminated in the playoffs. They didn't really have the team. And even when they get 59 wins, I kept telling people, they're not beating the Cavaliers. No answer for LeBron. And they have 2 players who break down mentally when things get tough. Adversity hits them, they don't know how to deal with it. And Dwayne Casey, he's got his little ish as a coach anyway that I like to say as well. So there's that too. Ryan says the Laker deals with the next Ponzi schemes. Look at that. Just as I thought, LeBron, the Lakers star, will not play, but will be honored in a pregame ceremony for his record-scoring feat with an ankle injury. Unbelievable. It's amazing how Laker fans and LeBron fanboys cannot see what this dude is doing. They can't see it. It's amazing to me. It is really crazy. So, man, what a day of NBA trades. Really crazy. The fact that it was really surprising with some of the moves. Well, some of it was surprising and some of it wasn't, honestly. But the fact that we had this big shakeup, makes things interesting again. Again, we obviously got in the Western Conference with Kyrie and KD going west, bringing in more competition. Nuggets making a small little piece with getting Thomas Bryant from the Lakers. The Lakers improving themselves in terms of a better team for the future. But I just don't see how that moves the needle because I feel like, again, it's all about LeBron this year. And really more so just passing Kareem. Well, let me click and see if this is okay. Let me see. Yeah, look at that. Everybody's already saying Kevin Durant's new super team. Yeah. It was a great trade. It was a great trade deadline just to see what these teams are going to do, especially now that we're almost into the All-Star break. We got about 2 to 3 games left. Ryan says, imagine if Russ carried the Jazz to the playoffs and the Lakers didn't. People were saying that. People were saying that that if Danny Ainge decides to keep Russ, it decides to keep him and not trade him, and not buy him out, you have Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, and then Russ, if they're able to, and Jordan Clarkson, if they're able to lead that team to the playoffs, and the Lakers fail to make the play-in for the second straight year, even with the improvements, it'd be crazy. I need to talk about LeBron's scoring record, but before I do that, give me 1 second, guys. G Money right now left the stream, but I'm gonna leave it just for a second. I need to get something. I will be right back.
All right, I'm back. Okay.
G Money, you can keep talking to the people right now on anything. I'll be right back.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I apologize, everybody. Just gotta do some family errands. So yeah, G-Star's back. I don't like the way certain players act, but like I always tell people, you cannot change anybody. You can't. People are going to be who they are, and that's what it is. You can't change somebody. We all got to be ourselves. It's good we all got to be ourselves. You can't change anybody. That's the thing there. And many teams made some great moves that might help in the playoffs. Some teams made some stupid and wrong moves that might bite them in the butt. So we just got to find out. We just got to find out and see where some of these moves take these certain teams. So, the Raptors get Jakob Poeltl back, which is big. They need a center because they were small. So to get a big man, they help clog the paint. The Pacers get George Hill back. They waive Serge Ibaka to get Jordan Nwora from the Bucks. So that's huge there. And, and that's the thing there. So, yeah.
Jay says at least one head case is gone. The next one is hopefully gone this summer. And he's talking about LeBron James. I'm going to get on LeBron James. And the fact is, I don't want to talk about him, but I just got to mention about how convenient that this is about this scoring record of how he gets it against Oklahoma City, but is not playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's LeBron night to honor his scoring feat. And he doesn't play. And then the Lakers get another L and possibly, and The Bucks should not take the Lakers lightly. And the thing is, we know that most of these players are not going to be playing in their first game. They're going to be most likely playing against the Golden State Warriors on Saturday when they travel to Golden State. And that's going to be a big game. So no Steph Curry, so you know LeBron's going to play that game. Jay says that Serge Ibaka could be a Phoenix Suns too. He's still close to KD. I didn't even think about that. That's true.
That's possible, bro. Let's put a what if, right? Think about this. Let's just put a hypothetical. Let's say somehow Danny Green goes to Phoenix, Serge Ibaka goes to Phoenix, and let's just say for shits and giggles, Russell Westbrook goes to Phoenix as a backup. Imagine their bench. Westbrook. It will probably be either Damian Lee, Danny Green. It will be Westbrook. It will be at Westbrook, Cameron Payne. I think Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, Bismack Biyombo, and then your third unit will have Damian Lee at the 2. You'll have Jock Landale at the 4. You'll have Okogie at the 3, Saban Lee at the 1, and then somebody else at the 5. Bro, that Suns team would be dangerous if that would have happened.
The Suns are going to have to become – no, now they're looking like contenders now.
If they were to get those guys, they might even win the championship, bro, if they would make all those moves, like I said.
I was telling when you stepped off, I said that it makes sense that Russ is going to be a Clipper because nobody made a move for Kyle Lowry. Mm-hmm. And I said with Kyle Lowry, I said he just has too many deficiencies at this point in his career for anybody to really take on him.
Yep. Russ to the Clippers will be nice too. Russ to the Clippers. Your 5 would be Russ, PG, Terrence Mann. No, it'll be Russ. Yeah, it'll be Russ, PG. I think Terrence Mann, Kawhi, and Zubac as your 5. That would be dangerous. And then your backup would be Bones will be at the 2. I think I'll put Bones at the 1, Eric Gordon at the 2, Nate Batum at the 3.
You got Plumlee as your center.
Plumlee as the 5, and then your 4 would be Marcus Morris.
Yeah. Don't forget they still got Norman Powell.
And Norman Powell. Oh, we can't forget Norman Powell. So, okay, it'll be Bones. It'll probably be Bones, Powell. It'll be Bones, Powell, I think Gordon, Morris, and Plumlee as the backup, the second unit. That team seriously is a legit title contender, fully healthy.
Luke Kennard is a tough loss, but he's not a good defender. He did help stretch the floor, made some big shots for the Clippers in the playoffs, but I'm glad that they got rid of Reggie Jackson. They needed to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had to.
Now, if only they could get rid of Paul George. If they get rid of him, and they gave some quality pieces for Paul George, then I think take the Clippers seriously. But injury prone is still going to be an issue. But the Clippers still, to me, at full strength, as long as they got Kawhi, they should be fine.
Yeah. And with the West, it's not that strong. The West is just too many questionable teams. No. I have Plumlee at the 5. I said Morris at the 3 or 4. That's what I had, Jay. I had Plumlee at the 5. As the backup 5 because Zubac is going to start as the 5. I had Plumlee as their backup center, Jay. I had Morris at like the 3 or 4 because I know Morris is not a center. Ooh, what about man?
No. What were you going to say?
What about Russ to the Heat? Do you think that'll be a smart trade? So I move Russ to the Heat.
If he's going to start.
Okay.
And I mean, he's dealing with Eric Spoelstra, LeBron's former coach. The thing is, him and Jimmy Butler would be a nice combo. The problem is, I think when it comes to depth and I think when it comes to depth, he's better suited for the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
It would be good for the Heat, but I feel like it just doesn't do enough for them just because
Right.
Miami's problem,
They can't shoot.
they can't shoot, and like I said, they need a superstar player. They don't have a franchise player. That's the one thing that's holding them back.
Agreed. And Russ is effective with shooters, though. That's why him going to the Clippers is A-okay. Because Russ is effective with shooters around him.
And Russ playmakes, which is what the Clippers have needed for a while. I'm not expecting him to be a demon on defense or anything like that, but the only question is going to be the playoffs, but he gives them the playmaking that they have not had in their tenure. So.
That is true. And I think Russ will play inspired under Ty Lue. And imagine this. Russell Westbrook and the Clippers play against LeBron James and the Lakers in the playoffs. Imagine the fireworks, man.
Oh, yeah.
Or if they play against the Suns in the playoffs, Clippers and Suns. Imagine.
Best believe Russ will be talking. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's talking to Bron if they go one at another. Because if they start doing that, he'll easily say it's a competitive spirit part of the game, but quite honestly, deep down, it's you put me through hell this past year and a half. So
I'm gonna terminate you. Goodbye, LeBron. And this time I'm gonna go after. This time I'm gonna send you home to Hawaii. That's what Russ will be saying.
Why possibly? Let's see. So yeah, I mean, pretty much a lot of some good moves, some questionable, but now the better question is now, how do you see things shaking up in the Western Conference now with these moves? Who do you still see as I know Denver's the number one seed, but it's like I don't know if they're a serious number one seed because I feel like I feel like if the West was more tougher, to me they would be 4 to 6 regularly in the standings.
They don't have a bench, and Thomas Bryant helps with rim protecting, but they don't have a two guard off the bench. It's just swap Bones Simon for picks.
How about this?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Which team is more capable of making a huge run going into the postseason now with these trades now, and we still got the buyout? The Phoenix Suns, the Golden State Warriors, the LA Clippers. Did I say the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah, you said the Suns. The Suns, Clippers, Warriors, yeah.
Or the Dallas Mavericks.
I'm going the Clippers. I think the Clippers. The Mavs, here's why. I got the Clippers. I think the Clippers have the best team to go deeper in the playoffs. Look, the Suns have talent, but I don't know if I could trust their bench. Unless Phoenix makes the moves I said, some buyout moves I said, I don't think the Suns go to the NBA Finals. The Mavericks, they have the shooting, but there's too many streak three-point shooters on that team, and they have no rim protecting at all. It's gonna be a layup drill if you play against the Mavs because they have no rim protecting. The Warriors, they get Gary Payne, which is good, but their bench is still dog poo-poo. Steph Curry's injured, and people talk about we're questioning Phoenix. So we got to question Golden State's health too. Steph Curry's injury prone, Klay Thompson injury prone, Andrew Wiggins has been injury prone this year. Draymond Green injury prone. That's gonna be a problem. Are they I don't want to assume injuries, but I'm saying are they gonna stay healthy? They don't have a bench. I think the Clippers are the best team to go deeper in the playoffs, though.
Okay. Jay says Russ can play with Zubac, Plumlee, and Ayton. That's true. He was able to do it with Steven Adams. Yeah, in terms of the bigs are going to love playing with Russell Westbrook. He does a good job of setting those guys up.
Right. Right. What do you think, Lou? I think the Clippers are the best team to go deepest in the playoffs in the West.
It's very tough because in one part I want to say the Clippers, but it's like this West is very wide open. It's wide open. It's just one of those I don't knows because the Clippers, they have health issues. They got to stay healthy.
True.
Phoenix Suns have health issues. They got to stay healthy.
The Golden State Warriors have health issues.
Golden State Warriors, health issues. They got to stay healthy.
Mavs too. Luka and Kyrie's injury prone.
They got to stay healthy. And the funny thing is, well, with the exception of the Clippers, the other three teams, what they all have in common is they're not deep.
True.
They're not that deep. Phoenix a little more deep, and they're about to get deeper, so I'll put them with the Clippers. But the Warriors and the Mavs are not. They're not deep.
That's true.
Remember from that. Warriors need a little bit of size too.
Agreed. They lack a big. Getting Gary Payne was beautiful, was nice, but they have no backup big man. Who's it going to be? Jermichael Green? Really?
He doesn't move the needle, no. Not a player I would want on a championship team.
I don't know, man. I mean, the Warriors are talented, but they dookie meet on the road, and even though they're a dominant home team, if you watch the Warriors at home, sometimes they are in a lot of close games at home and play down to the competition at home. Sometimes that's gonna be a problem, though, Kevin Knox. I think Kevin Knox will help, but I don't. Do you trust Kevin Knox in the playoffs though? Like, I know he had one good season against Miami, but he's gonna be consistent in the playoffs. I don't know, man.
We don't know. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. I look at this team. They're getting older. Middleton is going to turn 32 in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday turns 33 in June.
Mm-hmm.
Brook Lopez, they just got rid of George Hill, so that was good because he was about to be 30. He's about to be 36.
Mm-hmm.
Brook Lopez is turning 35.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby Portis is out injured right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Milwaukee needs in order for them to be in contention for a championship? Like, they can actually get to the finals, because it's like Milwaukee, yeah, they're in the Eastern Conference and they're the number 2 seed right now, but there's just something about Milwaukee that doesn't scream to me that they're a championship team. What do you think they need?
Backup point guard. They need a backup point guard because you swapped away George Hill pretty much for a Dunkin' Donut. Pretty much for a Dunkin' Donuts at this point. So you swapped away George Hill. They need a backup point guard, and since you lost Serge Ibaka, you need a backup 4, and they need a backup point guard, and arguably a backup 4. Yeah.
So a stretch 4
mm-hmm.
and a backup point guard.
Yeah.
They need that reliable second scorer to complement Giannis, and if Middleton is not able to provide that, Giannis is not going to be going to the finals this year.
Agreed. I picked the Bucks to win the championship. It's hard, man. It's tough because I fear many teams might make crazy moves. That's tough though. You know what? I don't know who's going to win the championship. I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know who's going to win the championship. I thought the Bucks at first, but something tells me that they might find a way to choke. The more I thought about this, I think the Boston Celtics are going to the NBA Finals. I think Boston's going to the NBA Finals. I think Milwaukee loses in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be the Clippers and the Celtics.
I have Boston winning it all.
Facts. Same here.
I said if the Warriors were able to, well, if Jay Crowder can hit, because then that means the Bucks are going to be small at that 4 spot. But
sure,
I don't know if Jay Crowder, he's streaky. He's another one who's streaky.
That's true. They do need a backup. Okay, maybe stretch 4, maybe too much. They really need a stretch. They need a backup point guard because they have no backup point guard, and they need a stretch. They need a consistent stretch 5, man. I know Lopez, but I'm talking about backup stretch 5.
Yeah.
I think Boston. I agree. Yeah.
I think the way that the East is looking, it's between the Celtics, Sixers, and Bucks. Those 3 teams, because to me, Cleveland and Miami are just kind of in the middle right there, and then everybody else I don't expect much from in that part of the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's become all about the West.
Mm-hmm.
And we know those West playoffs are going to be exciting now. now that KD and Kyrie are there in the West.
Facts. Yeah, man.
You have John Moran, and you got Steph, and you got the Clippers.
You also got the fun-loving Kings. You got the high-flying Pelicans. Even don't sleep on the OKC. You have the thunderous OKC Thunder. They could be in the mix. Who knows?
Let me ask you a question. What's your thoughts on the Sacramento Kings and the fact that they're not getting the love and recognition? And I mentioned this already before, but this was more so on De'Aaron Fox. But now I want to talk about Sacramento. I think they've done an amazing job. I think Mike Brown has been great. I felt, you know what's funny? And people don't talk about this enough. I feel the Warriors, they are really missing Mike Brown and their coaching staff because last year, defensively, the Warriors were one of the best. They were when they had everybody healthy, the Warriors were arguably, well, they were top 5 defensively in many categories, but I feel like the loss of Mike Brown is one of the reasons why the Warriors are not as good defensively this year, with just even more so with the pieces that they lost. They just got GP the second back, but losing Mike Brown and their coaching staff, I thought was a big loss.
Agreed. Agreed. Without Mike Brown, you see that the defense is cooled off. You see more backdoor cuts. You see less contested shots. You see them ball watching a lot. Mike Brown's done a great job with this Kings team. I mean, even look at the Kings. De'Aaron Fox has played some defense this year. Malik Monk is a good defender. Sabonis has played some defense. Harrison Barnes, a hard-nosed defender. Even Matt Dellavedova played great defense this year. Keegan Murray gives some effort. Damian Mitchell. I'm telling you, man, if Sacramento makes the playoffs and they get a good matchup, they could get out the first round, bro. If the Kings make the playoffs and they get the proper matchup, they may knock off a team in the first round.
I'm going to say this. I'm happy that Sacramento is winning. Hopefully that they can make the playoffs. Hopefully they don't slip too far down because, again, in terms of the West, they're not too far from the bottom parts of the West just by games. Mm-hmm. But it would be great for basketball, for the NBA, to see the Sacramento Kings back in the playoffs again. They can draw a new blood of fans. Mm-hmm. And then Sacramento might be a place that people might even consider going somewhere. And also, I think the good thing is that with Sacramento is that it would be good to see De'Aaron Fox in the postseason to see what he can do with the lights are on bright. Mm-hmm. And I want the expectations to increase with Sacramento so that will tell the front office of what moves they need to make in order for them to improve their team, to eventually down the line become contenders.
What the Kings need, I think the Kings need to work on their bench. They have the starting 5, but I think Sacramento needs a center. I think the Kings need a center that can protect the rim. And maybe the Kings need another versatile player. They need a center and maybe a backup point guard. They need a center, a backup point guard, and also another backup center. Yeah. So firstly, a center because Sabonis really plays more of the 4. They need a true center and a backup point guard, and yeah, that'll be good. And just experience.
Okay. Freddie Gee says that he likes the Kings. They're a nice young team. He says, but he doesn't see them upsetting anybody in the first round, but he wouldn't be surprised if they did. That's a fair point.
Yeah, exactly.
He also says, I used to love the early 2000 Kings. Oh, my God. Those were
fun.
Those Sacramento Kings teams were fun to watch. I mean, I remember me being 13, 14 years old watching these Kings play. I mean, I thought the 0-2 team was going to beat the Lakers in the playoffs, but we know what happened.
Yeah, that's true. Another team that I don't think get talked about enough, what about the OKC Thunder? What do you think their ceiling is, OKC?
Well, this is a team that's supposed to be tanking. So the fact that they have won the amount of games that they've won, I feel like it's a part of some of the teams in the league really not really kind of underestimating them and really kind of taking them lightly. But I give OKC a lot of credit. They've played very hard this year. They've been in close games. They could easily be multiple games over 500, if not losing some of these close games that they have. But they are supposed to be tanking. But at the same time, I mean, I would not be surprised if OKC would be in the play if they end up making the playoffs, though. I also do think, though, that when we're talking about Sacramento,
They need a perimeter scorer. I agree. They need one more perimeter scorer. I agree.
That's what I was thinking about. I feel like there needs to be another perimeter scorer to help complement De'Aaron Fox. That would really help De'Aaron Fox out because he's their best perimeter scorer overall. But getting a second one would be beneficial.
Right.
Because Harrison Barnes was supposed to be that, but he never reached up to that level. So
yeah, he's had his moments, but he's been hot and cold. Yeah.
Coming out of college, he was supposed to be the next Paul Pierce because that's who he was compared to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He has a Paul Pierce type game.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look that way now, but because of what the modern NBA is now, but that's who he reminded me of coming out of school from NC.
Right. That's true. Imagine a Kings Thunder first round. Imagine that. That might actually happen. I don't think it will. I'm saying potential. Imagine a Kings Thunder first round. The battle of the Youngbloods.
There's going to be a lot of Thunder and Kings fans tuning in, watching. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Jay says the Sixers have the deepest mountain to climb between them, the Bucks, and the Celtics. The Cavs are young enough to not have that kind of pressure. The Celtics are built to be in the finals, and they're still the favorites to win. I need to ask you about the Philadelphia 76ers because this is a team that some people continue to say that this team can be an NBA Finals team. But I've constantly said about the players that they have, they're not a deep team in terms of their bench scoring. I don't trust Tobias Harris in the playoffs. I don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. Joel Embiid has put up disappearing acts in the playoffs, and their coach is Doc Rivers. So my question is, do the Sixers have the talent to make it to the finals? And do you think they are going to the finals? Are they capable of going to the finals with two teams? I say no. And I said they'll find a way to choke again. And people didn't believe me last year when I said they were going to choke, and they did. But what's your thoughts?
Can the Sixers make the finals? Of course they can. When you're in the playoffs, every team has a chance to make the finals. Do I think they will? No. I don't think they'll make the finals. They don't have the bench. They have the starting five, but they don't have the bench, man. Like, their bench is whacking to me. Trading Matisse Thybulle was moronic. Why? He was a good 3 in the game. Why'd you let him go? For what? That was just stupid, man. They don't have a bench, man. Montrezl Harrell's an athletic freak, but his defense he's trash on defense. Harden and Embiid, they have time, but it's streaky in the playoffs. Tyrese Maxey's good, but he's still pretty young. And Tobias Harris is streaky in the playoffs. I don't know, man. PJ Tucker, he's up and down the playoffs, and he's a foul machine. I don't know, man. I don't trust Philly in the playoffs, man. And Freddie Gee said another player that Sacramento could use, Jalen Suggs. What do you think about that? I think it's a good move.
No, Freddie Gee's on the money with that one. Jalen Suggs would definitely be a great pickup for the Sacramento Kings. He gives them the scoring that they need. He will complement De'Aaron Fox greatly if they was able to get him.
Right.
He's a solid NBA player.
Right.
Jay says Will Barton and Terrence Ross should be bought out soon too. Now, these are two players that are intriguing to me because what teams can you see Will Barton or Terrence Ross helping out on a championship team?
On a championship team, I think Will Barton can help for. If I had to choose, I think Will Barton could help the Sixers. Also, T. Ross, I think he can help the Denver Nuggets.
Terrence Ross is a Denver Nugget.
They don't have a bench. I think it will fit.
I like that.
Right, and then Will Barton to what team I said? I said Will Barton to
Sixers, you said.
Sixers, yeah. I think he can help Philly, yeah.
Okay, Jay says Embiid has to lead. Maxey has to be their number 2 guy, and that's a lot to ask. Harden can't settle and has to try on defense consistently. That itself is asking a lot. Yeah. Tobias has to have the playoffs of his life. That's also asking a lot.
And PJ Tucker has to stay out of foul trouble too and hit those corner threes consistently.
If Embiid is going to lead, what does he have to do in order to lead this Sixer team? I know what he has to do, but what do you think Embiid has to do if he's going to lead the Sixer team to the promised land?
Stay out of foul trouble, stay healthy, pass out a double team, especially in the post, and exploit mismatches in the block. If he can stay healthy, stay disciplined, pass out of the post, get guys involved, exploit mismatches, play hard-nosed defense, then Philly will be scary.
You're absolutely right on the mismatches. That's a great point because my issue with Embiid, he has a tendency to get pushed around by smaller bigs, which should not be happening, especially with the fact that he's, 280 pounds at 7 feet tall. You should not be getting pushed around by smaller power forwards who have at least who have the base to be able to keep you from posting them up and backing them down. Another thing is I don't want to see him settling for threes because he has a tendency to settle for 3-point shots when he's not able to get good position inside. And it's like that shouldn't change anything. And also, even if you have mid-range shots, like don't settle for the mid-range shots all the time. If it's open, take it. But at the same time, just mix your game up so that you're not predictable because I feel like Embiid makes himself predictable.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that. Yeah. He doesn't need to be predictable. Yeah.
And I just feel that James Harden is going to be looking for that whistle to get to that free throw line. And the refs are going to not blow that whistle as much because they didn't do it last year's playoffs. And you saw what Harden did. He was not effective.
Yeah, it was inconsistent in the playoffs. Yeah.
And I said this has been Harden's MO the entire time.
Right. And Freddie Gee, we love the Jalen Suggs moves to Sacramento. We know that will never happen, but Suggs can move without the ball. He's length. He can get into the passing lanes. He's athletic too. He can stroke it from three. And he has the skills to play with De'Aaron Fox. And he would be a nice compliment to them. Yeah, that would be nice too.
But I'm pretty sure they're going to build Jalen Suggs with Banchero, so I don't think they're going to even consider moving him.
Agreed. And Freddie Gee says hopefully the beard will be close to his old form. He's shown flashes this year. I'm not seeing the old James Harden in which he was shaking and baking guys into a pot, but he has shown some flashes this year of the old James Harden.
My thing with James Harden is he's got to let Embiid be Embiid, but in order for that to happen, Embiid has got to become an alpha and take the reins of this team because Harden, remember, is coming here through trade. He can't be the guy on the team, and you're just kind of playing second fiddle. You were drafted to this franchise. You're the franchise player. You're supposed to be the one taking control of this team and being the number one option.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if he doesn't, there's no way the Sixers are going to be a disappointing team once again. And all this talk about the process that happened 6 years ago, which would mean that Doc Rivers would lose another playoff series.
Crazy.
Which doesn't bode well for Doc.
Dude. And Freddie Gee says, what do you think about the Nuggets? Who did they get in the trade? They got Thomas Bryant. They got Thomas Bryant from the Lakers, and they traded away Bones Highland for picks. I think Denver getting Thomas Bryant is big, but they need a shooting guard off the bench. So,
I know Will Barton already played for them, but I like the Terrence Ross move a little bit better. I think Terrence Ross would be a good pickup for them.
Right. And I think Terrence Ross would fit nice with a guy like Jokic. I think he would.
I mean, yeah, because I could definitely see it.
Right.
On the Nuggets, as soon as it gets bought out, I do it.
Agreed.
Now with Bones Highland for the Clippers, he's good. I say he comes off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Lue is going to have to do a real good job, and the veterans around him in terms of his shot selection, because he can be really erratic in terms of the type of shots he takes.
Yeah.
So I feel like his shot selection needs to be good to not really make any type of issue that the Clippers might have if they start to struggle to score and they get into scoring droughts. Because if you saw the game against the Mavericks, they got off to such a slow start and they couldn't put the ball in the basket. Then on defense, when they don't score, on offense, when they don't score, then defensively they get uninspired and they could not keep a single Maverick in front of them. They kept penetrating on them at will, and that kept opening up the threes in the corners or on the wings. And
Right.
Dallas was knocking them down early. Well, Reggie Bullock was knocking them down early because they kept leaving them open. But
Right.
he's one of my concerns for the Mavericks. I just don't feel he's consistent enough to be able to complement Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic when they're going to need him to hit shots in the playoffs. Because you saw him. He could go 5 for 5 from downtown, and the next minute he goes 0 for 10. Like,
Sheesh.
or he goes 1 for 11, like 1 for 7 or whatever, 2 for 8. Like,
Or he can go 9 for 9 and then 0 of 15. Yeah.
yeah.
But the good news for having Reggie Bullock, he's also a hard-nosed defender. Man, I know Bullock is streaky, but New York should not let Bullock go. You know what I mean? We shouldn't let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what was the point getting not to switch teams, but why we need to get Evan Fournier, man? For what? Like, we should have kept Bullock. Bullock fit nice with Tibbs because he was a great hard-nosed defender, could hit the corner three. He fits nice with Dallas though, because Luka and Kyrie could do the driving kick in the paint. You find Bullock at the corner or at the wing.
I kept telling people about Evan Fournier and why I was not high on getting him because I know what he is. I've seen his whole career. One game he could give you 35 points. The next game he'll give you 4, and it's like nobody will say anything because he's a role player. But it's like it's frustrating when you see play like that. You get no consistency from Evan Fournier. You never know what game you're going to get from him, and that's why I didn't want him on the team, especially in close games. It's really infuriating to see him play.
True, and we should have kept Reggie Bullock because at least Bullock. I know he was bad in the playoffs, but Bullock was more reliable in close games for us than Fournier.
No, to be honest, I'm happy Reggie Bullock is gone, but I did not want Evan Fournier on the team. I will say you're right, though. He is more consistent than Evan Fournier is. And he is a better defender, too, because Fournier can't play defense for shit. But Reggie is also another problem that you can't rely on him in the postseason, which is one of the reasons why the Knicks got rid of him in the first place.
True.
He wasn't hitting shots against the Hawks, and he became a liability defensively once he couldn't hit shots.
Good point, yeah.
And the thing is, he has to play. The thing with Reggie, if he's playing on a team with multiple options in the starting lineup or in the bench, is when he's useful. But if you're playing on a team that you have maybe 1 or 2 reliable scoring options, he becomes a problem.
Agreed.
It says Bullock needs a lot of options to play next to eliminate that pressure on him. Yeah, exactly what I was talking about. Yep.
Right. Another problem with the Mavericks, Tim Hardaway. I like Tim Hardaway. He hit some big shots last night, but he's streakier than Soap sometimes. One game he can hit threes, next game miss threes. And he's not a good defender and takes some stupid shots sometimes. And the Mavericks don't really have a center. That's why I don't see Dallas going for it, man.
Tim Hardaway Jr. pisses me off because I saw the potential as a New York Knick. Like I said, you have more height than your father, but all you do is settle for jump shots. All you do is settle for threes in transition a lot, even if they're open. And with his size and his athleticism, he should be a very good defender, which he never has been, and that's really disappointing.
Okay.
He's a guy that just spaces the floor. He can shoot the ball at a high percentage when he's on, especially from 3. He can shoot 36 to 38%, 36 to 39. That's how good he is, but he's really been inconsistent his whole career.
True, but do you think the Mavs should have gone for a center though? You think Dallas needs a big though?
Yeah, because Dwight Powell isn't going to do it for me.
Agreed.
Good player, but isn't going to do it for me. Man, I gotta say, man, this was really some awesome NBA talk. Jay says Luka isn't the best with a center, not athletic enough. Kyrie can play with one or not. Dallas tried for DeAndre Ayton, and that's true. That didn't fall through. Yeah, we saw what happened with Porzingis at the Luka can't play with bigs. Like, it's obvious. He can't play with bigs. So what happens is that with bigs, they would have to stretch the floor, which Porzingis is able to do, but the thing is, his shot attempts went way down with Luka having the ball in his hands, and you saw what happened. Porzingis to me would have had more of an impact against the Clippers and probably would have knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years ago had he gotten more touches.
Agreed.
So Luka played that LeBron style where he tried to beat them all by himself so that the media could talk about, look at that, he beat the loaded Clippers all by himself. Didn't have a reliable this and that.
Sure, and look, Luka's great. I love Luka the Don, but people think that he had no help in that series. Tim Hardaway was saying shots most of that series. So is Maxi. Even Maxi Kleber had his moments in that series in 2021. When we were up 2-0 and 3-2. Yes, Luka was the head of the helm, but other guys pitched in too. Even Tim Hardaway came alive at some games. Maxi Kleber, like I don't get it. Even Porzingis came alive at the end of game one. Like there's a lot. Now Luka has help right now. So to me, if you're the Mavs, there's no reason why you can't go deep in the playoffs, you know?
By the way, that was a great series between the Mavs and the Clippers 2 years ago,
Awesome.
on the first round.
Yeah, when the road team won the first 6 games, you didn't. Yeah. That was crazy. And the Clippers finally cut off the head of the snake in Game 7 at home. Finally.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, let me just check the schedule for tomorrow to see if I'm doing any basketball games. I would like to do, but let me just check the national TV schedule before we close out the show. I want to thank G Money for coming on as a guest. Apologies for saying it late, but I'm glad he was able to come through and was able to talk basketball. I thought we talked about a lot of things, and we talked about obviously Kevin Durant and Kyrie being the biggest headlines of, the trade deadline, along with other teams making these small moves to try to improve their teams, whether they are trying to rebuild for the future or trying to be contenders for a playoff push and hopefully have a chance to win an NBA championship and at least get to the championship round. So let's look at tomorrow's NBA schedule. Let me click on NBA and then let me click for.
Oh, yeah. I got it. The games you should, if you do decide to do a game, you could do Phoenix, Indiana, New York, Philly. You could do Minnesota, Memphis, Cleveland, New Orleans, OKC, Portland, Dallas, Sacramento, or Milwaukee and LA.
No, I can't do Milwaukee, LA because they're already playing.
No. I'm talking about Milwaukee and LA Clippers. That's what I'm saying.
You mean the Clippers. I see. Oh, Milwaukee's in a back-to-back. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
These are some good matchups, though. I like the Cleveland-New Orleans matchup. Oh, speaking of New Orleans, that's the team that has been on my mind and I totally forgot about. The New Orleans Pelicans. Interesting basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Before they beat the Lakers, they were on a 10-game losing streak. And it was crazy because they were not too long on top of the West, but that 10-game losing streak really put them at the bottom of the West in terms of playoff standings. Not play-in, but playoff. Fully healthy. This team can go all the way.
They have a chance. I'm not saying they will, but they have a chance. They have everything. Shooters, athleticism, a go-to guy in Ingram, Zion, a beast down low, can finish at the rim. CJ McCollum, he fits nice with New Orleans because he can get his open shots and he can create his own shot. Willie Green, good coach, good defensive coach, mind you. Valanciunas is scoring the low block and can stretch the floor. Larry Nance, athletic free. Trey Murphy, can stroke him from 3, lock down defender, athletic specimen. Same for Herb Jones. Jose Alvarado, he's like your fly that won't leave your house. Great defender, can stroke it from 3. If the Pelicans are healthy, I'm not saying they'll do this. I said they have a chance to go all the way.
I feel like the Pelicans are the most intriguing team in the NBA, just with what they have, and they're young. That's the crazy part. Well, Valanciunas and Adams are the veterans, but still, for the most part, they got a real young team there.
And Larry Nance too, right? And one more thing too. I said Larry Nance, right? He can also stretch the floor as a big man too. Yeah.
Man, I really hope the Pelicans get Zion back in there at full strength because they're arguably the most dangerous team in the Western Conference. That team right there, I'm telling you, a fully healthy New Orleans Pelicans teams, many of these teams don't want to play because they beat the Lakers and they're not at full strength. So right now, the Lakers are beating Milwaukee 31-26 at the end of one in the first quarter. Uh, yeah, wow, this is tough. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday I will be doing the Super Bowl. I will be doing the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chiefs. Excuse me. And on Saturday, I will be doing Golden State against LA. And I'm pretty sure LeBron is going to come play. It's amazing. I've already seen videos out. Too Raw for Sports. Shout out to Too Raw for Sports.
Too Raw. Subscribe to Too Raw for Sports. Subscribe to Too Raw for Sports. And subscribe to Sports and Political channel of LB too.
Also, subscribe to Too Raw for TV as well. That's his other channel as well. And he came out with a video about LeBron, and he said he let people know that he was telling people that he was going to duck the Milwaukee Bucks. And I also said this. I said that it made sense. I said at first the narrative made sense against the Bucks, but after he did the game against the Thunder, I knew then with the front line of the Bucks of Lopez and Giannis and Lopez's ability to stretch the floor, I said he was not going to play the Milwaukee Bucks. And when I looked into the scouting report for today's game, it already showed that LeBron was out, and it showed ankle. I was like, wow.
And this is on TNT. Come on, man.
Jay makes a good point. Jay makes a really good point. CJ McCollum cannot be Blazer. CJ McCollum.
Agreed.
Brandon Ingram has to be efficient, which I think he can. And not volume, Brandon Ingram. So basically, what Jay is basically saying is Brandon Ingram can't be a guy who just be taking a lot of shots, but he's not making them at an efficient clip. So he can't just be a guy just taking volume shots, because volume is usually just it's quantity. So BI has to play quality. We need quality Brandon Ingram, not quantity Brandon Ingram. And Valanciunas has to be consistent on defense, which he's not the best defender, but he could definitely block shots because he's very slow-footed.
Sure.
And Zion's issues is a few things: health and turnovers, because he turns the ball over the most on that team when he has to put the ball on the floor.
And free throws too.
Because Zion, he is a liability when he has to put the ball on the floor, and he gets exposed to his offhand. When he's at his strong hand, he's very difficult to stop because he plays like a 90s. He plays like a 90s player when I watch him play. But the problem is that, again, Zion turns the ball over a lot, and then you think about his health. That's the key thing. If he can stay healthy and he doesn't turn the ball over, the impact that Zion is going to have is going to be incredible.
And if he can stretch the floor too, because there's going to be games in which teams are going to dare to take the jump shot, especially the three.
As long as the scouting report is we're not going to let Zion drive to his strong side and he has to beat us from the outside, his jump shot is going to have to be reliable enough to where eventually they're going to have to come and defend him, and that frees up Brandon Ingram for his looks.
Man, but if they're healthy and they do the things that we all agree they need to do, they're going to be a championship contender sooner than later.
The reason that they have the championship contender potential is the fact that championship teams are good rebounding teams. The Warriors are the only exception just because they made up for it with the shooting when they were not a good rebounding team. But normally, championship teams have good rebounding, which the Pelicans have, and they're in the top. They're in the top 4 in rebounding, offensive and defensive rebounding.
That is true. That is true. And even though the Warriors were not a good rebounding team, they rebounded the ball when it mattered the most, though.
They were out-rebounding teams in the playoffs. They out-rebounded Memphis, which was the number 1 rebounding team last year, and I think this year they're still, I think they're top 2 or 3. The Warriors out-rebounded them the entire series. So you're right. And they got rebounds counted.
That's true. That's true. And you also need to protect the rim, too. You also need to protect the rim to prevent easy transition, easy dribble drive. So you also got to protect the rim. And teams.
I think at full strength, I think the Pelicans are one of the better shot blocking teams in the league.
With Valanciunas, Zion, yeah.
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams is on the Grizzlies.
Oh yeah, right.
You're good. Steven Adams is on the Grizzlies. You're good.
I'm like, what I'm talking about? Because Aquaman was he was talking to Shannon Sharp. I'm like, what am I saying? What?
He was a Pelican, and then now he was a bird.
Right.
Now he's a Grizzly Bear.
I totally forgot. Jay says Zion needs to go to the hole. He's too explosive not to. He forgot to get here. Don't settle at the 3-point line.
I agree. Get to the hole at will. Don't settle too much for jump shots. And make your free throws. I love Zion. He's athletic, but he's not a great free throw shooter. Make your free throws when it counts. My concern with the Pelicans is that we don't know how Zion will look in the playoffs. That's my concern.
That's one thing. Also, if Zion is going to be able to use his explosion, you make a great point in terms of his mismatches because Zion is not going to be able to drive all the time. So what the thing is, trying to force and bulldoze yourself is going to lead to mistakes. So this is where Zion IQ comes in, and that's what Willie Green and the rest of the team are going to really have to help him with, is to make sure that you're attacking in the right spots, and don't put yourself into a position. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be vulnerable. So where you take a shot that you're not comfortable taking, so you have to play. So just play your game and don't get out of your comfort zone if you're not capable of playing that type of game. And don't put yourself in a position where you're giving extra possessions to the other team. Because like I mentioned before, when he puts the ball on the floor, he doesn't have the handle to maintain his dribble, and he ends up coughing the ball a lot. And especially if a second defender comes, usually a lot of times they'll force him to fall. He gives up that basketball, and most times in transition, guys have advantages in transition while Zion's trying to get up and get back. So,
and Zion needs to and Zion also needs to learn how to pass out of double teams because teams will look to trap him in the post. So he needs to learn how to pass out of double teams.
Correct, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I will figure out what game we are going to do tomorrow. G Money, if you're available, just let me know, and I will try to figure out what game we're going to do. We got a couple of games that we can pick. I'm going to try to see which one I'm going to pick. I'm going to put actually, you know what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to make a poll. That's a great idea. I'm going to make a poll, and we're going to put a couple of games on there. It should be 4 games I'm probably going to choose from that list. Which game should I be able to do tonight? You guys vote, and whatever gets the most vote is going to be the game that we actually do. So we're going to do a little NBA fan voting.
Oh, like fan night. Remember NBTV fan night? I remember that.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little fan poll. So that's what we're going to start doing. And I think that'd be cool just to kind of get you guys, invested. So I think that'd be cool. What do you think of the idea?
I love that. It gets people to give us even more awesome ideas about which games that people will truly love to see, which matchups that could be playoff potential matchups, and which teams you think will be in the creme of the top, which teams are going to be at the bottom, and it brings a beautiful storyline. I love fan night.
So we're doing that on the Louis Sports Network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to close out the stream. Great NBA talk with G Money on hoops, and I thought that we addressed a lot of the NBA topics that we had talked about in terms of all these contending teams in the Western Conference now, with KD and Kyrie coming to the West. And we are going to see what happens right by the All-Star break, a couple of games to go. And we're also going to see what, as we get ready for the stretch run. Also, again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all pull up Sunday night, because I'm going to be doing Super Bowl 57 in Arizona between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I can't wait to see the quarterback play between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. That should be a definitely good one. So
Jason Kelce versus Travis Kelce, the Kelce brothers duking it out. You have Andy Reid going against his former squad because he used to coach the Eagles. It's going to be off the hook.
And we got to give Nick Sirianni a lot of credit for what he's done with this Eagle team in just his second year. So this is going to be, and like I said before, the Eagles, and I'm going to mention it on Sunday, again, they have the better team on paper. But I'm pushing for the Chiefs just because the refs are going to be a factor. They've been like that pretty much all playoffs. And we could even talk about these NBA referees. But, last topic before since I just mentioned referees. How do you feel about the way the NBA has been refereed this year?
Horrible, abysmal. Like, do you know how many teams like? Do you know how many free throw discrepancies players getting smacked in the schnauzer, get ripped in the arm? They don't call. I remember against the Celtics. Everybody knows this. Remember LeBron literally got fouled over here by Tatum? That was a hack. Again, we don't know for sure the Lakers win. We don't know, but
Yeah.
LeBron should have gone to the free throw line. I remember another game this year that the Lakers had 31 free throws and the Pacers had 6. Come on, the Lakers had like what 16 free throws and the Pacers had zip. Come on, man! Like free throw shooting has been atrocious. Excuse me, referees have just been absolutely abysmal this year.
Good opinion. I know refs are going to not always get things right, but consistently some of these mistakes have been kind of glaring, especially because the referees have been looking at the play. It's like the play is right in front of them, but they're looking at the ball more than what the person is doing. And so I feel like it becomes such an issue. But okay, guys, it is time to stop. Appreciate G Money coming on as a guest with Notorious G Money Hoops. And we was able to talk and had a great time with you guys in the chat. Shout out to the people who donated to the channel. Appreciate that. And also, we will be, like I said, we're going to be working and grinding. Oh, by the way, I got to make this announcement before we close out. I'll look at the chat for those last 2 chats with Jay and Ryan. So just heads up, guys. February 18th is actually going to be the last day that I'm going to be streaming.
I'm doing something. Sorry, I'm sorry. Hang on.
No, that's cool. Hold on a second. All right, so real quick, ladies and gentlemen, like I was saying, for February 18th is actually going to be the last NBA stream, the last day that I'm going to be streaming, because I'm actually going to be off for a few days, and we'll be back streaming again on possibly Friday or Saturday of following next week, because during that time. Oh yeah, I was just about to mention G Money. So yeah, on Saturday the 18th is actually going to be the last day that I'm going to be streaming, because I'm going to be off of YouTube for a couple of days. I won't be back on until probably Friday or Saturday of that following week. For this reason, I am going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I'm going to be in New Orleans, taking a little trip. I'm going to be there during Mardi Gras. And so I'm going to be trying to see if I get to see the Mercedes-Benz Superdome where the Saints play. Unfortunately, I wanted to get tickets to go see the Pelicans play, but they're not going to be in New Orleans during the week that I'm there. Unfortunate, but I'm not going to get that. But I will try to take pictures of the Smoothie King Center. Who knows? Maybe I get myself a Zion jersey, something. But I'm going to be in New Orleans, so looking forward to it, trying out restaurants and all those kind of things. So, but I will be posting in the community post. I will be probably uploading some videos, just to make sure that I stay in the loop so that you guys don't miss me too much. But yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So I might even put some videos of what I'm doing down there, just to keep you guys updated and stuff like that. But that's what I'm going to be doing for like the next week after the 18th. So I'm not going to be on doing any live streams or anything like that until after. And pretty much the All-Star break is pretty much like post All-Star break is really going to start like around that time anyway. So not really missing anything. So,
not only awesome, have fun at the Big Easy, man. Have fun, man. The Big Easy is beautiful, and have fun in the beautiful weather, and that'll be great, man. And who knows, maybe take some pictures there too.
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna take pictures. So I'm doing all that, but. But yeah, I'm going to be on vacation for a little bit, but I will still be uploading videos. So guys, make sure you just like those videos and then just make sure you share them. But definitely appreciate you guys. Until the trip happens, we'll still be grinding here on the channel. And shout out to the people with the super chat. So this is the end of the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys as always. G Money Hoops, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on and doing this basketball talk. And we'll be back on tomorrow. I'm going to do a fan poll right now. So I'm going to So I'm gonna do an image poll because now you can do that on YouTube. You're not able, only on Androids you can do image poll. They haven't put the update for the iPhone yet, but hopefully I will. Hopefully they do update that so that I could just do it from the phone instead of doing it on the computer. But I'm gonna have to do it on the computer for now. But I'm gonna do a poll so for which game you want me to do tomorrow, and we'll be able to work ourselves from there. Jay says the NO is different. Oh yeah, I'm about to find out. I can't wait to try the food down there because I know the southern food is. I've already looked up a couple of restaurants that I'm already gonna try by the time I land on from the plane, and I did my research, and I'm gonna be at a hotel called Ace Hotel. It's one of the best hotels in New Orleans, so I can't wait for that. This will be the second year in the row that I'm receiving that Southern hospitality, man, and I cannot wait for it. So,
man, it's gonna be off the hook. Woo-hoo!
All right. Ryan says you're gonna pull off a Zion. Well, Zion's injured. I don't plan on injuring myself, so no disappear backs over here. But anyway, guys, have a wonderful night. We'll be back on tomorrow. Enjoy your Thursday night. Catch this Laker game, which I'm about to do right now, and probably get some analysis and all that kind of stuff. G Money, you do the same, and we probably talk more on that probably tomorrow. So, from the Louis Sports Network, bless up, live, laugh, love. We chat together, we stream together. We are family for life. Take care, everybody, and we are back on the next one. And y'all know the drill. I am gone. Take care.
Good night.
So many times, and I just wish they would just stop. You know what I mean? Just stop. I mean, he was, Michael Jordan. I'm Kobe Bryant. I mean, we're two different players, and I wish people would just let it go. It really annoys me because you can't compare.